Hello, her. She's waiting, fiending for it, chat. Waiting and fiending for it. Hello, Neil J. Roger. Setting the back end. Bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Flying straight through his knees and now in rep. Yes, it is necessities. When you say that life with ease. It looks like you're streaming with FPS Diesel. I don't need you to give me announcements about that. Twitter and Twitch. And why does Twitch give me a shout out telling me, hey, it seems like you're trying to stream with somebody. Would you like to knock in your channel? No, I would not like to do that. That'd be annoying as fuck. I'd like to set up a podcast like I'm trying to do right now. Huh? They've made this website completely fucking unusable. Holy. 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 What have I come to yap about today? Don't worry about it, you're gonna find out. It's funnier if I don't give you a process for the situation. Also, hello, Bogdan. The time of day is 1:04. The amount of light coming over the window is not going to be enough to illuminate it properly. Then you turn on the lights. I also need water. It's running through all the works because the house is hot. It already is off. Walk through a room. Somebody wants to engage in a conversation with me. Because they don't want to go do something themselves. Fun, so fun, so fun, so cute, so fun. Anyways. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are gathered here today to watch a man attempt to defend himself from the allegations because he didn't remember that he was involved in something. First, we're going to watch the video. Then, we're going to watch the train wreck happen on the live stream from your boy, a Falgi.Exe of the Op Block. We're not going to watch the entire live stream, but we are going to look at the parts inside the first hour, because that's where the incident happens. That's what I talked to Foggy about. That is what we are here to witness. Does everybody understand what we're going here for and what we are here for to do? Great, groovy, wonderful. Don't want to repeat it again. Let me set this up. And open this up in the back end. In case Horror needs to holler at me about something. Aftermath 3 under 8F. On the screen. Let us begin.
A year ago, I released a video titled The Fall of Yandere Dev, and that cataloged over 3 hours the grooming allegations regarding Yandere Dev, a disgraced game developer. The video would consume roughly 5 months of my life as I unraveled this ludicrous conspiracy of internet morons. For the uninitiated, the pitch starts like this. Yandere Dev, aka Alex Mahan, was starting a romantic relationship with someone who was 16 going on 17, Alex being 35 to 36 over the course of the story. This was horrific to find out, but it got even worse than that as everybody in the story was fumbling something. Everybody had their hand in the cookie jar. It was a fumble of epic proportions I have not ever seen since. One of the people that was involved with this was a person by the name of CameronF305, who many of you may have seen recently in a recent explosive video aping the content cop that he showed me right before it came out. So what happened in this ridiculous story? Why does it matter? And what happened since then? Since some new stuff has happened. Let's save everyone that 3-hour video that I posted and give you the TLDW and find out where these people are now. Join me as we uncover the aftermath of Yandere Dev. It's crazy, you know what? But, Allie, you lied to me.
Stand that, and I do apologize for that.
Saw a little bit more than I should have seen. Okay, timidly, pensively, and only like one time. There were 2 times I saw. There was only one time I implied I wanted to see it.
The man of the hour is Dev, aka Alex. Dev, as I came to understand over the course of this ridiculous story, is a pathetic person. He's the archetypal incel, complete with poor opinions on sex and outburst of outrageous anger. For the uninitiated to his lore, it starts like this over 10 years ago. You see, a conversation bubbled up on 4chan's V, where a then much younger Yandere Dev discussed the idea of a social stealth game with others online. That conversation would bubble into a game that would never release. It would bubble into Yandere Simulator. You see, as Dev began his development, release dates were pushed back, almost in perpetuity. People began noticing how this guy would react to criticism and basically just freak out. The cracks were small at first, but over time, this would boil over into drama. Dev tried to stop the bleeding with an unhinged blog post, cataloging and addressing his various controversies. Now,
Because that always fucking works.
what are these controversies and how long is the list? Well, it's pretty damn long. So let's include some famous ones that are actually on his debunk page, which is no longer up. Threatening suicide or trying to push others to suicide. A corporate fumbling from publisher Tiny Build that caused Dev literally a blank check. His teenage web history where he wrote vivid murder fantasies about his parents. And a Fallout fanfiction featuring rape, sex licenses, which the conversation's as bad as you think it is. Weird dismissals of pedophilia. He's been accused of spending Patreon money on a life-size Samus Aran sex doll. Here's a post from that website. The Yandere Simulator game is an unoptimized, unfinished, buggy, and poorly programmed mess. And when questioned on it, he flips out. He's been accused of doing asset flips for Yandere Sim, or just stealing assets from online. The game has been called a self-insert fetish project. That one's probably the most true one on here if you've ever played the game. There is a toothbrush that kills the game's performance and crashes it. That video has a lot of views about a damn toothbrush in a video game that's not out. The history of Yandere Simulator is cataloged online by numerous people, including Yandere Simulator's own website, which features embellished retellings from Dev's perspective, which are ultimately him trying to just save his own ass. But believe it or not, none of these things were the killing blow, actually. It actually took a lot, and, the guy's still trucking today. Now, the short version of the killing blow was that Yandere Dev came into contact with a girl named Jelly, who you might hear referred to as a bunch of other names, none of which are actually her name. Now, Jelly and Dev began talking online, and Jelly was a minor at the time, but Dev entertained talking to her anyway.
As they always do. Because that's what progressives do in the inside. They just get angry at the internet, they blame their mom and dad, and then they somehow start grooming a minor online. Male, female, transgender, you name it.
His reasoning basically boils down to she's mature for her age, and she was 16 to 17 at the time of these events, and he was 35 going on 36. So you can imagine,
As most Discord kittens start,
that this is a not an appropriate relationship to have. Now, between myself and various other people involved in the story, there are quite literally hours of calls between him and Jelly. You can find all these online. The files were released by another YouTuber in the story named Ali. So how did this whole pedophile thing start, right? For those of you unfamiliar with this drama, allow me to give you some clips of this cognito hazard. And of course, if you're watching this and you're a streamer or something, you've been warned.
You put your hand on your hips.
That's like my seriousness stance. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay?
What are you doing with your finger there?
I'm thinking, these are my thinking.
You're so cute.
No, they're like when you think, and then your brain is working, and
You're so fucking cute. Pat, pat. Pat, pat, pat.
Now, I mentioned the large-scale leaker is Ali, and I'll explain who she is in a moment, but Ali was holding on to all of this, and assuming that Jelly was the world's most innocent girl the entire time, and Jelly was most certainly not. She's a victim, but she also is one of the most deeply disturbed people in this entire story. Jelly has a long history of posting—
Oh no, I'm awake. There's not enough coffee that can mentally prepare you for this, so I'm just letting some of it waft through my head as I pick through things, and also look at people desperately trying to explain to me how I don't see a fucking swastika Hakenkreuz in the image of an AI-generated art piece. I cannot explain to you how badly we are missing Loping, because between himself and I, there are two of us that handle the dumbasses of Twitter, and I cannot handle the workload under this capacity myself. That's the worst part about retards on the internet. They all think that they are doing you a favor by mentioning something that you can obviously see. How can I not react? Because I've heard and seen worse. Carl, how could you not react to the fact that this girl was playing around with this grown-ass man, speaking to Discord kittens? Look, I'm not sure if it's out there or you saw it, but apparently the Twitter platform is allowing the images of a woman who was basically assassinated to stay up. It was a woman. She's Mexican. She gets a parcel delivery. Somebody asking her who she is. Pat, pat, pat. Somebody picks up the phone. It's probably the girl that called for the hit in the first place. After that, I'm shell-shocked. Alright? I'm not ignoring it or not reacting to it because, oh my god, it's just going over his head. He's not awake. Between retards trying to tell me something that I am very aware of, and then calling me the wrong slur, then when I correct them, calling me multiple slurs, between multiple dumbasses that have absolutely no followers between myself and others, clearly linking my tweet inside of a Discord somewhere, me responding to how retarded they are, then blocking them from the account, then paying attention to what's being said. They're all subterfuging the filter that I normally have on a regular day-to-day basis because it's already been overloaded for the day. Same as it ever was.
Pictures of her body on 4chan as a minor. She participated in
See, you know that I'm engaged because do you see a video game anywhere on this screen? I rest my case.
Discord servers that provided rules on how to blackmail pedophiles for money in games. She even tried to do that with Yandere Dev. Hell, the reality is, she probably did. She probably made off like gangbusters. Jelly is extremely antisocial in her behavior. She has had practice doing this, and Dev was not her first mark. Now, I should mention, Dev is the adult here, and he should be held accountable for his actions. Which is why, despite the deliberate, calculated, and malicious behavior of Jelly, the buck stops with Dev. Full stop. Jumping ahead a moment, though, this whole thing I had never had access to was this footage that I'm going to show you next, of Dev admitting the heinous activity that had just been alluded to this entire time. And so, again, cognito hazard unless you want to think about the cum chalice guy jerking off.
Yeah, these conversations got out of control and I should have stopped them and I didn't. And, well, I wasn't going to mention that in the video. Yeah, okay, I saw a little bit more than I should have seen. Okay, timidly, pensively, and only like one time. There were
Timidly, pensively, one time I only saw too much. I only saw too much. It was an accident, just a little bit. I didn't intend for her to show me the coochie. She just pulled a fold to the side, and I just like...
There were 2 times I saw. There was only one time I implied I wanted to see it. When she said...
Only one time where I implied I wanted to see... I just implied I wanted a minor to flash me on the screen. I wanted her to do something strange for some change, but for free, with the 5-finger discount. And not my hands, if you know what I mean, chat. Stop it, Carl!
He said the conversation got sexual. What did that mean? Well, she said to me, hey, I'm really horny. Do you mind if I masturbate? And I said, okay.
And you just responded with, okay? It's going to be important for us to refer to this individual as Yandere Dev because I know Devin. So when you say Yandere Dev, I'm imagining Yandere Dev cosplaying as Short Fat Otaku. Just for me. Anybody else can do what the fuck they want. Y'all aren't children. Bait used to be believable, but cringe used to be less painful.
Hey, and then she just started moaning into the microphone, and then she finished like a minute later. He said, boy.
Hey, yo.
He said, did it for her. And another time, you know how like when you're having a conversation, it's just so easy to just give a reply without thinking, hey, wait a minute, it's kind of inappropriate to say that to someone who's young. I didn't show.
No, it's actually extremely easy. It's the same reason why I vocally respond whenever someone explains something to me so they understand that I'm actively engaging and paying attention to what the fuck they're saying. I don't walk into situations with grown adults or children and not take cognizant fact of the fact that someone's communicating something to me. Actively, at all times. Perhaps this is where people have assumed that my Joker persona my intentional court gesture behavior comes off as though it is not explicitly what it's supposed to be, which is a service filter. This is like not knowing how to be able to imagine the concept of imagining an egg, or an apple, or a piece of toast, or bread, or what you would have done if you didn't eat breakfast that morning. Unironically, who the fuck sits down and starts up a conversation like that? And it's the child! The child! The child's the one that told you this.
Told her. She just said, "How big is your dick?" And I said, 8 inches. I never saved a single
Now I'm getting there.
thing.
So there it is. There's the admission from Dev that many people just were wishing to have for such a long time. In a recent call I had with a former confidant and collaborator of Dev's, CameronF305, he revealed to me that these anonymous leaks were his. He provided them during a conversation he had with Reddit mods over a period of a few days. Cameron is going to come back into the story in a little bit as well, but let's get through the rest of the characters in the story. So how did all this stuff start? Well, it all starts with a simple expose video by a YouTuber called Ali.MCC. She now goes by Ali's son, and she published a video on Yandere Dev. Basically, over the course of 40 minutes, she relayed the story of Jelly, a minor, and things were messy and not really what Ali was putting out there. The story was a lot more complicated than what Ali wanted it to be. Ali was gathering these recordings of Dev by collaborating with the minor victim Jelly. As in, calls would happen and occur, and Jelly would live react to Ali in a group chat, and then would share.
So you're telling me that you employed a minor to attempt to catfish information and bait. I'm pausing here because I know that that's not the case.
The calls with Ali, and Ali would give notes and encourage further prodding for the good of victims everywhere. Yes, seriously. Ali held the insane contradictory position of Jelly, the minor, is a victim, but also is a minor who can't consent and has it in her power to stop Dev anyway, despite the fact that she can't consent and shouldn't be here anyway. So literally, this minor is the only person that can stop Yandere Dev? Okay, so I obviously don't know what specifically happened with the feds, but at the time I found out about all of this, myself and my team got in contact with somebody at the FBI, at a local FBI office to where Jelly is located. There were multiple personal correspondence over the time period of this happening, an agent working on the case. Things dried up. You know, we had it all. We had a personal direct line to them, email to share information. It was serious. But I think, in my personal opinion, that this victim crusade that Ali was doing over this period of time is exactly why this case went nowhere. They were having a minor basically try to sting Operation a pedophile.
Nope, it was exactly as stupid as I thought it was. Earlier today, I got a donation through PayPal. I needed to double check to see if that came through Ko-Fi. Because whoever sent me that money, you have paid for the alcohol I'm going to need later. I will walk down the street to the alcohol store and probably go get it today if I don't wait to get it at a later date. Or whenever Star gets closer to being off work. I just want to give you a thank you for that. Oshabata. Let me double check. Let me look. No. This was sent through somebody else entirely different. I don't know where it came from. Thank you to whoever that was, though. In all my years of being on the internet, and continuing to be the case, there's some things you just don't fucking have people do. Because it's stupid as fuck. And the stupidest thing you could probably do is have a minor attempt to sting operation an adult. Personally, for me, it's the idea that you're going to put a child in the line of danger. Where effectively all that needs to happen once, just once, is that the thing you're trying to do backfires. But you have the child actively getting involved with things that will scar them, and like you're potentially making a goddamn substance abuser in the future. And at its maximum, you've put a child in harm's way. It's like taking a kid and using them as a human shield, but rather than it being an unfortunate case where they just got blitzed by a shock charge, an IUD, or an IED, with ball bearings to simulate a pellet spread. You instead pick their face up, and you shove them into a giant physical, like, pole needle that's flying at you, Final Destination car chase scene 2 style. Just metal pipe, head, clink, on purpose. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, intellectually. Alcohol. I'm going to pretend that this is vodka. It's not. I'm going to pretend that this is vodka.
The entire time this was going on, by the way, as I would grill Allie, Allie refused to listen to me or cooperate at every turn. I would repeatedly tell her that jelly is more than she lets on. But this lady wouldn't listen to me and would continue to do whatever the hell she felt like, ultimately making the situation worse for everybody. All right, I'm gonna drop the pretense here, right? Here's how it looks to me, right? To me, it kind of looks like you might have had an active hand in trying to entrap Yandere Dev using a real minor, right? I have a call that allegedly includes you, Krexa, and Jane, where Krexa is encouraging Jane to record these calls and trying to get entrapping material on him. And comment.
Well.
Did you really just reply dryly to that?
And
she did.
Comment.
Well, I have been in deeper contact with Krexa. She has been wanting me to basically... She has some things she wants to get out about Cameron that I am still trying to look into and unsure if I'm going to pursue. That's not something that, I really want to share with people because she also feels afraid. And again, I don't know, like, exactly how that's going to go or if I'm going to pursue it, so I'm not...
She feels afraid, so I don't know if I'm going to inform people about it or pursue it. Bitch, you're not the cops. You're not the cops.
Exactly planning to, talk to people about that. Jane was interested in hearing Krexa's side of her story from when she was roommates with Cameron because Jane is still in contact with Cameron and supposedly he's been doing some very not good things with Jane. And so...
Not good things with Jane? As in sex? Last night check, sex was good. Not in this context, though. No. Because how old is Cameron at this point in time?
I facilitated a call between Krexa and Jane. Krexa did, on her own, encourage Jane to record things. That's not something I was really supportive of. I was in the call just to listen, but not participating. I had my mic muted the entire time.
Okay, she also had a collaborator that isn't hugely important to the story. Allie was working with a person by the name of VsChat, who produced a series of TikToks on Yandere Dev and participated in these group chats. Kami basically didn't like that I called him unimportant. And,
Jelly/Jane is 16, Cameron was 19. I'm going to lean on the fact that even though that these are people who are extremely close within age, the 3-year difference here matters because this is a minor who, by the sounds of what I've heard and what I've investigated into looking for any physical evidence of these calls, so I can hear the calls themselves removed from editing, this person should not be sexually interacting with a grown adult. Like, honeypot or not, whomsoever Jane is, in their personhood, in these when these events were occurring in time. Oh no! Not crossing state lines too! She is not capable of the emotional maturity that she would need for sexual intercourse. So, he crossed state lines and her hymen. Alright. I already hate myself for the joke. As soon as it was leaving my lips and mouth, I said, you know this is wrong to say. It hurts. Why would I say it? Tension of diffusion! Backwards. Diffusion of tension! From what Diesel and Foggy said on stream last night, here patents. Last night here patents ain't really good parents, so even they knew they wouldn't give a fuck. I'm assuming the first patents is parents. Anyways.
this is the end of talking about Decepticon. He's still unimportant. You see, one of the things that happened over this drama is that every glup shido I came across wanted a chance to wet their sword. For the sake of brevity, I'm not going to include every single stupid tangent. The Reddit mods of r/Osana played a minimal role, but as I'll explain in all my talks with the people they had, I also had talks with all those parties involved. Everybody involved in the story wanted to placate to a specific group, so as a result, the mods, myself, or anybody else looking into this basically got a different story depending on how good of a detective the people lying felt the person was. I'm just gonna be upfront. I'm presenting what I found. That's it. So if you like content like this, check me out on Patreon. Get exclusive access to the podcast I work on with the boys. Or buy my coffee at manpotioncoffee.com and get USDA organic fair trade coffee. We got tea as well. And I'm sure you'd like it because the people that I actually cover sometimes still say that my coffee is good, even when I'm grilling them.
I've had your coffee, by the way. Good shit.
I did not know that. Okay.
And by the way, I actually was very impressed by. I'm like one of those guys that's in like YouTuber products. Like I've tried the fucking quartering coffee. That shit was that shit was like Chinese fucking bullshit. Okay, that like I actually was very impressed. I thought you were going to. I thought it was some dropshipping scheme. I'm not gonna go on. And I wasn't gonna play for it because like, hey man, I mean, we all gotta like.
Getting an internal piece of content glaze about your products is crazy.
But like, sorry, I was impressed. That's good shit, man.
I mean, I didn't know I wanted an endorsement from Cameron, but I'm glad I got it. Am I right? So this video is primarily about Cameron. So let's uncover and go over how this all unravels. In 2023, Cameron tweeted vaguely about Dev's allegations. As I said, a year ago, the tweets are gone. But I very quickly learned that this was a story that I needed to catalog everything in, so that would change very quickly. During our initial talks, Cameron basically brushed it off as false allegations. Dev had been on the receiving end of harassment the entirety of his lolcow status, and Cameron would become increasingly worried about this over time. But he was never being fully honest with me because, well, he worked with Dev. Cameron did the music for Yandere Simulator, but Cameron's a lot more than that. Cameron was Yandere Dev's liaison to the outside internet, a young man who would, quote, look at things critically. He initially got me in contact with Dev a long time ago and vouched for me on our initial talks many years ago. Cameron will also be overly charitable and forgiving to Dev at every single situation in turn. Anyone who's followed this drama for a long time can tell you that Cameron was seen as the guy who would get in the trenches with people online and get his hands dirty for Dev. He would fight his battles for him. Make no qualms about it, the guy did a lot more than work for Yandere Dev. He was his closest friend and confidant. He's the reason I saw Yandere Dev's apology early, and Cameron was an active participant from day one in all of these grooming allegations.
Interesting. Would not have gotten that take from CameronF305.
For example, in my initial calls with the involved parties, I would bring up Ali's evidence, and Cam would be present in these calls where I'm talking with Yandere Dev, Cameron, and myself. Cameron would occasionally chime in with his 2 cents, and occasionally he would even be critical, and I'll give him that. Other times he'd try and downplay what we were reading. And what I was reading out and showing to them is absolutely outrageous, so let me read some Snapchats between Dev and this minor he was grooming. Yandere Dev. I think about that sometimes. 17 is 94.4% of 18, so therefore being attracted to a 17-year-old girl is 94.4% okay. Later in the chat. Yandere Dev says, quote, so really the only thing for me to get out of this are lewd pictures and videos to fap to, end quote. To which...
But porn is free. Google Big Boob and get a fucking subscription from somebody else's affiliate link for ExpressVPN. Connect that shit. Connect to fucking any place outside of any of the banned states. Get onto platforms with free uploaded content from studios and originals. Nigga. And you're telling her?
The minor, Jelly, responds, quote, which I'll provide you if you promise to keep it secret. Yandere Dev responds, oh, heart emoticon. I would keep it a secret.
A Mao?
Oh, I'll give you legal material that you know that I know you shouldn't have if you keep it a secret.
Pedophiles of the world, hear me. If they say to you these words exactly, in your head should be danger signs, okay? Alright? In your head, you should be hearing the danger music of Sonic Spongeball. Every single time. Every single time. Why? Just anytime it's like, I'll take pictures for you. I'll even bend over the way you want. I'm not even justifying what you're doing, okay? I'm putting you under the jail cell. What I'm saying is, where are your instincts?
Heart emoticon.
I will say the words lewd pictures does not specifically imply, because one thing I will say is like
I know your bitch ass did not just say lewd pictures does not specifically imply explicit material, bitch. I know that's not what the fuck I just heard. I know that's not what the fuck I heard. I know that's not what the fuck I heard.
I will say the words lewd pictures does not specifically imply, because one thing I will say is like hentai is a thing. I'm not trying to like.
This one's mostly empty. Bitch, what the fuck do you mean? Lewd explicit pictures doesn't mean that it's explicitly something that they're selling anyways. You know that people can share porn and doujin codes back and forth, right? I, on my fucking honor, need to make you understand that if you are sharing pictures with someone of explicit material that they are out of the age range to share with you, you are inherently choosing to do so because you know and understand the implicit nature that you are looking at something you shouldn't be. So if you go around and share around the Dark Elf X-Ray Cream Pie Orgasm Dojin because you said, hey, I heard you had a rape fantasy, I want to indulge in that kink too, and you find yourself somewhere in the realm of Anna Valens, here's your sign. If they're 15 and you're 15 and you're sharing metamorphosis because you really, really like that part where the girl gets fucked by the punk guy with the when she's got the blonde hair, here's your sign. Did I break my shit accidentally? Let me check on this bottle. No, we good. The mic is crackling, Carl. I don't know what you mean by crackling.
Go like crazy here, but it's like that's like not uncommon, and like I guess Discord communities to like share like NSFW artwork.
Yeah, but you're still not supposed to share it with a minor. But you can get
I wouldn't really want to do that either.
So the whole statement together.
Like hentai is a thing. I'm not trying to like go like crazy here, but it's like that's like not uncommon, and like I guess Discord communities to like share like NSFW artwork.
Yeah, but you're still not.
It's not uncommon in Discord communities to share not safe for work art. Sure, but you're not supposed to share it with minors. And the minors should already be corralled away from the point. Why he was making some popping noise when I was speaking, I don't know. For context, she's listening inside the server while I'm premiering this inside at the same time. She might be hearing something that people on the stream watching directly might not be hearing. Because I don't know what's causing the popping, other than background noise. Yeah, it is popping. What does the popping sound like? Does it sound like peaking, or does it sound like background noise? Context is important. I can't solve the problem if I don't know what it sounds like. As I'm looking at it, it's reacting to background noise. It's crackling, it doesn't sound like peaking. Does it still sound like it is peaking and or crackling and or popping? Because I'm listening to myself back in the broadcast and I can't hear it. But see, it's Horror and Seth saying it, so I know it can't be a troll. Because all I did just now was mute the television in my mother's room and shut the door to the bed, like to the foyer where she's currently sitting and watching television too goddamn loud while talking on a cell phone. No use apologizing for spilt milk. The intention is what matters, and you're trying to make sure everybody else is having a quality stream, staff. We good? Because the only ambient sound that I can hear now is just the sound of the computer. Because it's standing right over the tower. We good? Excelsior. Okay, back to my point. Minors wouldn't be involved inside of the Not Safe for Work channel because minors would have been corralled away from the Not Safe for Work channel and then actively made to wait until they're of age to consume the content because of the stringent nature of Discord. Whenever you have any kind of content on Discord in any kind of server, if they receive reports of it or investigate into your server randomly and find that your server has content inside of it that they would rather you not have or they would rather you not consume, they ban the server and remove all the content. And then, depending on how aggressive the material is, they will give your account a warning of your standing, or depending on how it goes, they will simply just outright ban your account. Also, I didn't even have the Twitch setups properly set up because something happened to them. Interesting. Let's have to restart this. I love the opponent shit. I love. There we go. Is enough to be a big deal, but I need to unplug and plug the microphone. Well, we already lost enough time. There's no reason why not to try. Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. I love me some Arabs and I love me some Jews. Yes, no, maybe so. Popping, no popping, popping, no popping. I'm just going to assume that's going to be a thing. I don't know. Don't know what to tell you, chat. Still popping. Somebody has to send me a sound recording of what it sounds like when I speak so I can understand what the audio problem is. Anyways, moving on.
not supposed to share it with a minor. That you can get.
I wouldn't really want to do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying that's what he was doing. I'm saying that's what she could have been offering, and that's kind of how it comes off. Because let's be real, I don't think you're out there sending I don't think you're commonly out there on the market sending and receiving and trading nude pictures with people there. I think you're working on a video game. So I guess I'm trying to understand your interpretation of that message.
And that isn't even a clip, Chimp. I'll provide the calls for you all to go through yourself if you don't want to sit here and listen to me talk. All right? The guy was the go-between for Yandere Dev, pitching me on watching the response from Dev on stream later on in one of our talks.
I know that even if he does an interview that makes him look bad, it'll still help his image at this rate. Because if you think about it, like he just needs transparency. I don't, and I think that'd be great for your channel as well. It'd be a great look for you because, I mean, just the integrity, you know? So I've always wanted something like that to happen, and even though I'm no longer associated with the project, I think it'd just be beneficial. And
I'm applying a noise on the back. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing.
quite frankly, retarded of him not to do.
All right. Well, I'm gonna need to cover this at the end of the month. So if something changes.
Yeah. Just, I mean, as long as you're as impartial as you've been with us, I'm fine if you get critical. As long as you don't do some funny shit.
No, I'm not gonna turn him into a soy jack or something if that's what you're worried about.
I mean, I've been able to enjoy a couple of Yandere Dev memes after this.
But
I've enjoyed my Dota.
Yeah, get the. Listen, there's literally hours of calls between Dev, Cameron, and myself. Admittedly, I played nice to get them to open up, but make no qualms about it. I am not a fan of any of these people, right? There are hours of content here, and I have a huge doc linked below in case you're more of a reader. I just want the information to be out there, and I want to be transparent about what I did. I basically lied to get these people to open up to me. Yeah, I did. I lied to them to get them to be my friend. Whatever.
Acceptable. Based. Entirely accountable in the range of what you should do when you're doing things in the matter of an investigation, depending on what your goal is. This is more or less the extent of what I asked Foggy. And I don't think there's enough people who understand that when it comes to investigation. Especially when you're doing what effectively is a sting operation. It doesn't mean that after the situation, you can't be chill, or can't be friends, or can't have trust for people. But if you're in the middle of something that I need to get to the center of information for, any and everything that is necessary for the information I need to find is going to be acceptable if what we're doing is acceptable for the goal that is to be preserved. Meaning, if you and I need to solve a problem involving a child, anything that I need to do to get to protecting said child falls within the parameters of being acceptable, because we're talking about the protection of a child. This is not applicable when we're talking about random, retarded internet drama that has no stakes. Bigger stakes, more acceptable to the behavior, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a consequence benefit. Consequence benefits. If I try to stop somebody by using a firearm and a force multiplier, the consequence is that I now have to live with the guilt of possibly having used this force multiplier on someone, and the carnage that I have doing it. The benefit is I rescue the person. The higher the consequences, should you not succeed at doing something, the lower the cost analysis of that cost benefit. I've been on a kick recently about just noticing how many people, this quotient between the floor and the ceiling of what is acceptable and thus what is in between, being completely skewed and off. Especially when it comes to internet drama. I'm going to leave that there.
I don't care. Yandere Dev is a piece of shit. Needless to say, back to Cameron. Cameron was quite involved, and he would piecemeal information to me as he did his little detective work as well. And the information he would piecemeal to me didn't arrive.
Basically, that's what that looks like.
Able to enjoy
Health. Admittedly, I played nice to get them to open up, but make no qualms about it. I am not a fan of any of these people, right? There are hours of content here, and I have a huge doc linked below in case you're more of a reader. I just want the information to be out there, and I want to be transparent about what I did. I basically lied to get these people to open up to me. Yeah, I did. I lied to them to get them to be my friend. Whatever. I don't care. Yandere Dev is a piece of shit.
That's more or less what it sounds like. I did what I did to get what I wanted. Fuck this guy. They're a piece of shit. I don't have to think about it. I go to sleep. Fine. How are you going to sleep at night next to my wife? Like a baby. That's the rationale. That's the logic. I'm not saying that it's wrong.
To say back to Cameron, Cameron was quite involved, and he would piecemeal information to me as he did his little detective work as well. And the information he would piecemeal to me did direct me at certain players in the story, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a deliberate piecemealing of information. Now, at the end of September, he had left the Yandere Simulator project, right? And he didn't hear about this CSAM stuff until early October from Dev. So he tells me these things about how bad and dangerous Jelly is at the time, though he may have known it earlier in September, right? It really depends, and it's hard to know what exactly happened in those calls that I wasn't present for. Either way, in early October, I was put on to finding out about how Jelly was involved in all of these honeypotting for blackmail money operations. The problem is now that I have to relook at this information, the lying and piecemealing of info makes this very difficult to parse, especially with some new information that's come into my lap. Cameron even admits in a call with me that he was afraid to be honest with me because of the level of respect he places on me, which doesn't help any of this whatsoever because now I have to look at everything Cameron has sent me with a grain of salt, thinking
Why would that be the factor?
and piecemealing of info makes this very difficult to parse, especially with some new information that has come into my lap. Cameron even admits in a call with me that he was afraid to be honest with me because of the level of respect he places on me.
I'm afraid to be honest with you because of the level of respect that I have for you. I'm so sorry, Captain Justice. I just respect you so much that I'm scared to tell you the truth because I feel like you're going to run me through with your justice fist.
Fear not, brave citizen, for justice is blind.
Nigga, what do you mean?
Which doesn't help any of this whatsoever because now I have to look at everything Cameron has sent me with a grain of salt, thinking about what are ulterior motives that this guy could have. Now, Cameron tells me
Exactly what your scary ass.
in a recent call that when he had heard those CSAM and masturbation clips, that he had sent it to the police. But I really don't know if he's telling the truth. He needs to prove it because I did my work. Dev, Ali, Cameron, all of them gave different conflicting stories. Not once, not until after the dust has settled, does Cameron seem to have these outrageously incriminating clips of Dev. Not until he makes a ceasefire with the Reddit mods on r/Osana. Okay, so let me tell you how I look at this information coming out after everything, right? So either Cameron knowingly withheld this information till an opportune time presented itself, or he sent it to the cops once he learned about it, and then, regardless, still met up with the minor that was being groomed, which would only complicate a federal case anyway, so it doesn't really help whether or not he sent it to the police because he was so involved. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Yes, Cameron met up with the minor Jelly in question. All of this suspicion, by the way, is compounded by Cameron having been an active participant in the Yandere Dev drama for about 5 years or so. Now, Cameron, as a teenager, was accused of doctoring screenshots in old dramas, running defense for Yandere Dev, sometimes regarding people who Dev threatened or bullied for their mental health.
You know, the usual on Twitter.
As a teenager, he'd insert himself in overly complicated pedophile dramas, not once but twice.
You know, the usual on Twitter.
Once regarding a person called Sisef who accused Dev of grooming her while Cameron ran defense in a video. Cameron's opinion
You know, the usual on Twitter, Facebook, Discord.
on this have changed, though, from our conversations. He was also
Oh, look at him. Look at him. He looks like he belongs in a skit on mid-aughts Nickelodeon. Like Big Time Rush. Or the Naked Brothers Band. Or the Brothers Garcia. The TV movie of the Brothers Garcia where those two guys get turned into shadow serpents. He liked Minecraft, and he also liked the craft of mining ass.
involved having conversations about Dr. Apis. This is another person that is just completely deplorable, right? But the way that Cameron works is if a position is completely untenable, Cameron will cave. But he'll sure as hell take the long way around to get there. Now, admittedly, he was a teenager when most of that stuff happened. But the problem is that this continues to adulthood. And frankly, in my opinion, it's a pattern. Okay, so withholding the CSAM masturbation clip is bad enough. So let's talk about him going to see Jelly the minor. Because that doesn't make him sound any better either. Cameron told me that during the Thanksgiving break, he drove up to see family and that Jelly was close by. So he admits he wants to get to the bottom of this and do a documentary.
I'm driving with my family to North Dakota. She just happens to be living right over there on the other side of Lake Erie. It's a 5-mile walk, so instead of simply asking my family to give me a lift to a friend's place that I usually would be able to hang out with over the internet, I walk 500 miles, and I smash, then I walk back 500 more, with a limp in my spine, rearranged with multiple scratches from where I nailed her against the door. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense. I went to her place because she was nearby to record a documentary? We ain't new here. You crack cheeks. Nigga, don't lie to me.
At the time, he knew of all of the extortion, the honeypotting, and the grooming. He also knew that this might have been trained into her by her mother. The reality is we don't really know what's going on.
It might have been trained into her by her mother. Her mother taught her how to get men to put themselves in various vulnerable positions so that they can be manipulated. Therefore, I need to see how good she is? Question mark? Come here, my whore daughter. Let me teach you my whore tricks so that you can once be able to claim your own coven of whore friends. Let me teach you how to be a chicken head. And then when you do this, you make sure to flick the frenulum. You know, it's important to remember, telling people that they aren't fit to be parents is not eugenics. Keep that in mind, chat. That's advice and insults for life.
Going on there. But either way, he knew about those things. He knew that Dev received things from Jelly, according to him, based on the timeline of when he would have had those CSAM and masturbation clips. And then, well, then he tells me this.
Okay, so when you say it was kind of like a situationship fling thing, I understand it's personal.
What's that sound effect from TikTok? What is it? What is that sound effect? It's the sound of a horn and wah, 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 wah. I have to go find the clip. If I can even find the clip. Don't think I can. Unless it's in my likes. It might be in my likes. Nope, I found it.
Shift to the turbo.
Yeah. Oops. Guys,
That sound effect right there with the horns. But whoever used this chose to overwrite what the original sound effect was. Thus being lame as hell. Like, once you say something like that, situationship, it's cooked. You're cooked. You are cooked.
Well, but what did you do with? Okay, so when you say it was kind of like a situationship fling thing, I understand it's personal, but what did you do with her exactly?
I don't think. Well, first of all, I know she said I like raped her or some shit. That's not true.
You didn't have sex,
I think me choosing not to answer should be an answer for you.
so that's a yes.
Yes, we did.
I feel like there are easier ways to crack cheeks than cracking cheeks with the girl specifically trying to honey dick niggas on the internet. I say again, there are probably easier ways. I'm not sure. There are probably easier ways to crack cheeks on the net. There are probably easier ways to crack cheeks on the net. There are probably easier ways to crack cheeks on the net. What possessed you to crack her cheeks?
Not that we didn't. When we first met, that didn't happen. The second time we met, it like kind of just after like talking a shit ton, it kind of just went there.
The first time, all I was doing was scoping out the movie. Then the next time, I bent it over and I ate the... Stale in the cookie, but fresh in the cream. Thank you, Star Sprinter. I can't tell if I'm dry heaving or if there's saliva that's just coating my vocal cords. And the payday trip goes to Carl for triggering my 13th Mother's Day, where I had to realize that I took the title back. Off to listening to more X Japan and crying to my pillow to realize that. Sorry. I'm not laughing at you. This situation is wild. This is getting wicked. Sorry. We salute you here in the neighborhood. The first time. Oh my god, it's just like what actually happened. It's like what happened with Project. The first time, I didn't have the intention on doing anything. I just wanted to go there and let Holly know that I was with her in spirit and supported her. And then, under the twinkling starlight, she walked up to my face and she got really close. And she did that thing with her eyes where they started fluttering. And she kept looking at me like this. And then she started closing her eyes, and I closed mine too. And then I could hear the soundtrack give away to the mid-aught sounds. And then, before I realized it, the soundtrack of Duvet was playing. And I don't really understand. You seems like such an honest man. And then they get to that part of the bridge with the guitar. Unironically, Serial Experiments Lane moment. No, you made me remember seeing that. Fortunately, I have that on the channel, so I ain't gotta go far for that one. Oh no, Seabot. I just went over to her place, and then it happened. It was like this, chat.
Play the forbidden note.
You know, it just happens, guys. You go over to a person's place while you're on summer vacation and you decide to stick it deep inside. You know, it happens to every young teenager who gets groomed on Twitter and wants to groom on Twitter. Cast not the first stone, so that you can be the one to receive the first cum. For you either come in the sink, or you sink in the cum.
But we wanted to keep it private because we didn't want people thinking some weird shit between, like, that Alex had any involvement in it, because he didn't. Like, my interview with her was very anti-Alex.
The first time I went there to go interview her, the second time I interviewed her insides, and I got the full scoop. I hate you, Singapore Coral. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you and the way your mind works. The full scoop. Ah! Why can't you be liquor? Why can't you be liquor? I want you to be liquor. Become liquor.
I can show you that.
Now, that's what he told me back when I was looking into this initially, right? Now, when we talk recently, he added on to tell me that he vented to her emotionally about topics he would not be discussing with a minor. He should not have been discussing the things that he was discussing with me.
Like what?
With her. Now, I'd love to tell you what Cameron told this minor, but when Cameron told me about the thing, he said that he put a bullet in his head if I told the internet that thing. But I can certainly tell you, I wouldn't talk about it at a youth group. I'm not putting it out there. It's, again, kind of on him, but it is bad.
So,
but fresh and cream. Thank you, Star Sprinter.
Over that time, you're bonding with her, and you tell her, you know, this horrible thing happened to me.
Yeah.
Well, why did you tell her that? Just because you felt comfortable?
Well, we were both talking about, you know, these, like, situations because we had both just gotten out of that crazy situation, right? And then she was telling me...
We were trauma bonding.
About, you know, things happened to her, and there was this one specific instance that I was like, damn, that's a hard relate.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was listening to her trauma bonding to me over things that I shouldn't be discussing with her.
She kind of cried a little bit, and it took a while, but then, like, we just got into a really emotional conversation. But, yeah.
And then we got really emotional.
It just kind of came out there. We were both venting to one another.
And we were venting to each other, and then we started gooning to one another. You know, as the kids do.
When I press Cameron on this, he tells me that they have sex, a heat of the moment thing, right? Yes, not only does he just meet up with the minor, he hooks up with her, okay?
Why would you sleep with Anne, dude? Like, she...
It wasn't smart, obviously, but it wasn't planned. I didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a heat of the moment thing. Me and her were kind of going really deep on this shit that we were dealing with at that point in time, and I don't know, I guess something just clicked.
Were you guys ever flirting before you met in November?
No.
No? Yeah, because that string you guys did together, I'm like, kind of looks like they got some romantic chemistry.
You think so? Because we were, like, at that point, she had attempted to flirt with me beforehand, but I hadn't
Nigga, why are you excited about his realization? What the fuck? Do you hear the joy in his voice?
Clicked.
Were you guys ever flirting before you met in November?
No.
No? Yeah, because that string you guys did together, I'm like, kind Kind of looks like they got some romantic chemistry.
You think so? Because we were like at that point she had attempted to flirt with me.
You think so? Oh man, do you think so? Goddamn, I wonder how Jane-chan feels about that. I really want her to be able to feel different, but it's been awkward ever since the spring formal where I decided to eat it from the back. Excuse me. This feels dirty. I feel dirty. And then we got the fucking green goblin that is my fucking internet persona making jokes in my head to break the tension and shit.
Beforehand, but I hadn't reciprocated in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. It was just like, it was nothing I was ever planning. I was pissed at her. She's funny to be around though, and that's what I liked about her. I was definitely becoming a friend, a good friend of hers.
So this heat of the
It felt good to be around her. I felt good to be around a minor that I chose to have sex with because she was just being so vulnerable. She was being so vulnerable. I needed to be able to reach out and touch her. And then I did. I had to goon, chat. You have to understand. I had to goon. Under the jail. Under the jail. Under the jail. Forget heaven. You're not going to hell. You're going to the jail. Actually, no. Under the jail. Under the jail. Straight not to heaven. Straight down to hell. Under the... There we go. Under the jail.
moment passionate sex happens, and then not but days later, Jelly accuses him of rape. Then she walks it back, and she lies some more, and lies, frankly, a lot. And to add even more complexity to this, right, it's a year later, and the iDub content cop is coming out, and Cameron calls me up, and he says, actually, Diesel, just so you know, I actually never had sex with her. I was being blackmailed to say that, because if I didn't, she'd tell everyone my top secret thing that I'd kill myself over. Anyway, here's the top secret thing I'd kill myself over. I'm not gonna tell you in detail, but please don't tell anyone, because then I'll kill myself. Okay, so get this. You said you had sex with an underage grooming victim of your former boss, so your family wouldn't hear about this deep, dark secret. Okay, all right. Which, by the way, if I was in the world's worst saw chamber and I had to choose between the grooming victim thing and the secret, I would rather the world know about my secrets than the grooming victim, okay? Now, back when this originally happened, when Cameron told me that they had sex, not but a week later, Jelly says he raped me, and then being there, accuses Cameron of things and instantly walks him back, right? It's going back and forth, and the lies are flowing like a river. Then, in the midst of being accused, Cameron comes to me and says, don't cover Jelly. As if that's at all possible.
She's coming up in the video. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way.
I'm gonna request you don't mention me and her about the honeypot stuff. I don't want anything I've ever sent you to use about that. No matter what, because I don't think it's cool.
You know, that's a crime, right?
Now, there is an actual reasonable argument for why you wouldn't cover Jelly, right? Now, the reason I cover Jelly is because she played a role in everyone's story. She allegedly taught other minors to allegedly groom pedophiles, and frankly, the case was fumbled from the moment I got there, right? Allie inserting herself and coaching a minor, this minor lying to everybody and being really good at it. And there was just no way that I could tell this story without saying that, yes, there is this person named Jelly, and she did these things, and she's probably fucking crazy. Now, Cameron also admits to having sex in Discord calls with me multiple times back when this happened. In fact, he also comes on stream with me and beats around the bush about this, playing coy as I'm reacting to his response and really not buying some of the things that he said in it.
So maybe I'm being charitable here, but the argument is you're 19, she's 16. For some people, they say that's just... I know she's 17 now. Would you have sex with her?
I'm not gonna say whether or not I did.
Oh, really? Are you fucking stupid?
No, Cameron.
You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You said to me, by the way, you watched the video. You said to me in the call that you were traveling to see family for Thanksgiving.
It was AI.
It was AI? Are you really gonna be stupid on stream right now? Because this is not gonna be...
Are you serious? Nigga, are you serious?
She's 16. For some people, they say that's just... I know she's 17 now. Would you have sex with her?
I'm not gonna say whether or not I did.
Oh, really? Are you fucking stupid?
No, Cameron.
You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot.
Are you stupid? No, I'm Cameron.
You're fucking idiot. You said to me, by the way, you watched the video. You said to me in the call that you were traveling to see family for Thanksgiving.
It was AI.
It was AI?
It was AI.
Are you really gonna be stupid on stream right now? Because this is not gonna be a good look.
It was a robot.
No, it wasn't.
It was AI. It was a robot. I traveled with AI with a robot, or when I said that, it was me using AI and a robot to give you a response. Did you bust and leave a hot spear of your biological material inside of this female? Yes or no? Did you travel to where she was in order to drop this mashed potato ball in her drawers? Yes or no? Which one is it?
No, it wasn't. No, he's
Look, I'm working on my video right now, and I'm in a really goofy mood, so this is
I'm working on my video that I'm hoping will get the heat of the internet off of me. so that I can be able to escape the situation mostly intact. So I'm just a goofy goober. Over serious allegations and over serious circumstances that you know and that you have evidence of me being directly involved in and engaged in trying to manipulate access to the information of. I'm going to say it slowly for you, Star Sprinter. Drop a mashed potato bowl in her DRAWERS. See, Neil J got it. Filling her with the Holy Ghost. They were praying together and gooning together. By the time that they were done with their little prayer circle, both of them were saying, "Oh God." I can't be blamed for that. That was Neil J. He set me up. I knocked it down. Just like he did to her. Fuck! I swear to fucking Christ. It's unironically at the Gaming Goblin.
Cameron, you're being accused of a felony, okay? And now here you are talking to me about this on a stream with like 100 people.
I didn't know this was gonna be a stream. I didn't realize you were streaming.
I was being a goofy goober. So I decided to say things that I definitely wouldn't have said if I realized I was being witnessed by a live audience. That does not help your case, Cameron. In fact, that makes it extremely suspicious. Exactly the reason why you saw an opportunity to make your fucking content cop. And that's bad because that content cop, it was really well made. So I can separate art from artist here, but it looks like and it sounds like you made material to get a greater audience of individuals unaware of your involvement with a known internet lolcow, and the deeper knowledge that you chose to have sex with a minor while technically being emotionally and matrilinearly a minor yourself, but legally an adult. It sounds like you actively made material and content to go hyper viral on the internet, hoping that you could ride the coattail of success. Coattail of success, but you're the one driving it, so the algorithm, to be more exact, against another figure that was an easy target, and hope that nobody would call you out about it. Which now makes more sense to the reason why Foggy and Diesel and the rest of the op block would do what they said they were doing. Because Foggy fully admitted that what they were doing for that broadcast was effectively a honey dick. Or, to be more accurately, just gay ops. Oh, that's cringe. Oh, that's fucking cringe. Boo this man! Boo this man! Boo!
Did you or did you not watch the video?
I did watch the video. I watched the relevant parts for me. I just skimmed through a little bit.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I watched the relevant parts.
Cameron, we can sit here and not talk about, right? For people, what I was going to say earlier, 4 people involved in this, they feel that a 19-year-old and a 16-year-old, which you say she turns 17 in February, which means when you had sex with her, she was 16.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, so now you're just saying her age is just a complete fabrication.
Allegedly? Did you allegedly come? Did she allegedly swallow? Is she allegedly a spitter?
No.
That's it? No?
What happened to the goofy goober energy, Cameron? I thought we were yucking it the fuck up.
No, I'm not saying her age is a fabrication.
That you hooked up is an alleged, is an allegation. That's an
the
allegation
idea
that came from your mouth.
The idea that I raped her is an allegation.
Yeah, it is an allegation.
So the response.
Yeah, none of this would have come up if Cam hadn't called up Foggy and said, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to edit all this stuff about me fucking a minor." Strange world. Strange world.
Response video from Cameron is a lot of things. The response video is a response to all the drama, which he's taken down, by the way. He avoids addressing this whole allegation of them hooking up, right? Instead, discussing the non-allegations surrounding it. Things like, hey, did we have sex to Big Dick Randy?
Did I have sex to you while listening to Big Dick Randy?
We did not have sex while listening to Big Dick Randy.
Okay, now we just have to... Okay, you're making... We have to hear what that visualization sounds like. Granted, they said Big Dick Randy, not Big Dick Randy 1, 2, or 3. So let's just assume it's Big Dick Randy 1.
Big and black, he will take your candy. That nigga's name is Big Dick Randy. Hey, big Dick Randy. He take booty, not just candy. He dressed up like he a granny. Then he be ready for niggas to walk off alone. He make sure they ain't near no home.
I don't think he has that much energy. I don't know about you guys. Me, personally, I know I got it. I don't think Cameron's got that energy. No. Caramel dancing on a slow beat, slow and screwed, seems like more his speed.
Okay, and you gotta understand here, right? In every private conversation Jelly and Cameron have that I have access to, they discuss whether or not their sexual encounter is consensual. They never discuss whether the event happened at all. In these private conversations, where it's just them, they both clearly pre-agree that a sexual encounter happened. In a group chat between Liaison Cameron, Jelly, myself, and my head researcher, they both pre-agree something happened. A sexual encounter happened. In a group chat between Liaison...
In what way? Wow, great look. She said this right here. This was before I knew shit about Alex, the full truth. That ain't news. Sims 4 DLC to say we didn't meet up or that he didn't do anything bad to me. He did do some things, but he apologized and made up for it, so I've forgiven him. And none of it was rape. So what she's saying is that you're trash. Your dick is trash. 3 years of experience and your dick is trash. Trash, boy! For the context of people who don't realize my jovial nature, should this clip break out of my audience, that is a joke.
On Cameron, Jelly, myself, and my head researcher, they both...
Your lawyers are not smart because even if it's not crimes, they advise for you to not talk about it. Of course they did. I just don't give a shit. I've got a clear conscience and empty balls. And I've got my evidence. And your nut. So, Anne, from your perspective, what happened to you guys took up a recording is taken? You guys hook up a recording is taken. Everything is chill until you feel Cameron fucked you over. Poorly. You accuse him and then retract when you guys worked everything out behind closed doors. Is that correct? No, there's an amount of jokes. I just don't know if I can tell all of them. I'd have to become numb. But I can't become numb. The Fed inside, there are 3 wolves inside of me. One of them is a goofy goober. Another one of them is an even goofier goober. Another one of them is an ex-Fed. The ex-Fed is caning both of the other 2 goofy goobers. There's a number of jokes. I just don't know what amount I'd have to tell. You can unintentionally corroborate a fact that the police knows, even if you are innocent, more reasons either way. Plus, I can't afford to maintain a lawyer. Not quite. I didn't make any public accusations that detailed what he did. I found out him and a girl named Eve were doing stuff at the same time when he claimed to be exclusive with me. So you were cheating on her too? Aw, nigga, that's strange. You can't even be committed to your underage boy wife. I'm adding boy wife for fun. You couldn't even be committed to the underage boy wife. You had some peace on the side, some strange and some change. I found out him and a girl named Eve were doing stuff at the same time he claimed to be exclusive with me. So we were talking how much of a bitch he is and sharing stories of the weird shit that he did and lied about. And when I told those same silly stories to Keith, he pointed out they were kind of illegal, especially where he tried to eat me out and I didn't want to, so I had to start hitting him and stuff so that he would put me down. Oh, wow, that's crazy. So you telling me this motherfucker was picking your ass up like a fucking Samoan, and he was just in that shit with one leg on neck, one leg around head, both hands ahead. Really? Really? What porn you been watching, my boy? I know exactly where that trick comes from. What porn you been watching, my boy? Do any of them happen to star porns featuring Mr. Marcus and Korean Steffens? Maybe some Jada Fire, huh? Some Pinky? Cause you ain't picking none of that shit up from Kylie Myers. You ain't picking none of that shit up from fucking Angela White. Can't find that shit on a fucking porn star's feed on a goddamn OnlyFans. Nigga, you nasty. You nasty. It's entirely possible that she is just lying, though. Still, that's crazy, huh? Still, it's crazy, huh? And now that I've inserted that thought in everybody's head... So he put me down. And then I was like, oh, what the fuck? That's a whole ass crime. And then I posted about it. And Cam was being sleazy and got caught. He apologized and fixed it. It wasn't rape. I don't think it fits the definition. Yeah, because if you were willing, it's not rape. It's statutory rape. There was no forceful penetration, and Alex was mad that he got cucked by his former employee, so he played into the Cameron bad narrative. I'm over it, I forgave him, it isn't a huge deal. Like, he came, he nutted, I accepted it, I took it, I swallowed, I went. What's the problem, guys?
Both pre-agree something happened. Cameron even elaborates at how it wasn't rape. So what, these private conversations where you're both pretending to have a sexual encounter, have had one, are just you both playing pretend?
He said that you did nothing wrong?
Well, in a legal standpoint.
From a legal standpoint, I was saying no, and I was scared, and that I didn't want to.
No, just in the sense of us having sex, and that can be argued because once I heard you say stop, I took it down. You were being nonverbal.
I don't think I was.
So he did, in fact, have her in the air, giving it to her Bible Black style. He, in fact, did have her in the air, giving it to her Bible Black style. Okay. Unless that's a fabrication and they're both acting in this clip.
Was.
I'm telling you. Maybe I wasn't hearing correctly, but I'm telling you. I did not hear the word stop until I did. I put you down. And I felt awful because you said you were like, once you like started like squirming a bit, I felt like...
Squirming? You're gonna call it squirming? I was hitting you.
Were you?
What the fuck? Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I don't know. Obviously I wasn't intending to do something bad to you. And I feel bad about it. But that's between us, and that's not going to be public.
What about how I spent, like, 5 minutes telling you that I didn't want to kiss you, and then you wouldn't let me go?
Haven't we already been over that? Like, you know, I feel horrible about that, and it was only because I wanted to spend more time with you. I wasn't trying to force you to do something.
But you can't just act like you didn't do anything wrong.
Well, that's the first thing I said to you. Like you said, I didn't do anything wrong in the sense of, like, anything illegal. And in regards to the idea of us having sex. And that's all I was talking about, not that between, and that's why I said obviously between us. I know I made mistakes. And I feel horrible for them. Because I broke a boundary that I didn't realize I was breaking, and I feel awful.
You didn't realize you were breaking it? Me telling you that I didn't want to, and that I was scared and not to grab me? That...
Okay. If you were like, hold on, wait. Like, obviously, like, after the fact, once I put you down, like, I realized what was happening. Like, there's a reason I put you down.
Because I was hitting you.
You might have been. I personally don't remember that, but you might have been.
Might have? Oh, okay.
I'm genuinely saying I cannot remember that.
So, okay, let me get this straight. Which one is better here? Helping Dev by proxy by lying, or sleeping with the child he thought was hot? Which one is worse? I mean, both of them you're helping Dev, but both of them are also pretty bad. To further complicate things, in our original timeline, at the same time Jelly was accusing him of things, another woman enters the discourse. Crexa. Crexa's not important. The short and skinny of Crexa is that Crexa tries to portray Cameron as some sort of maniac, which, if I haven't made it clear, Cameron is a fucking idiot moron. There's actually a clear difference between a maniac and an idiot. So, there's that. So, who is this Crexa person who's accusing Cameron of more things, right? So, for the sake of your sanity, Crexa is really just this mentally unwell young lady who Cameron had a situationship with. Most of all of it...
Another situationship? Did nobody tell this nigga don't stick your dick in crazy unless you know you can stir the crazy around you? The toxic fuckboy playbook is not something that you use to sleep with mentally unstable women and manipulative women that honey dick to get benefits out of the targets they prey upon. Okay? The power of Brent Fayez does not belong to you.
Is he said, she said type stuff. Okay, Krexa played it off as like a goodwill of Arosana will help her, right? So the anti-Yandere dev community comes in and helps her, and they start a GoFundMe, and then it ultimately ends with Krexa taking the GoFundMe money that was for 2 people and running off with it. Okay, Krexa is just a piece of shit who flew on.
So, scammer.
The story and then flew away like nothing ever happened. So I put out my video, Cameron puts out his response, I grill him on stream, you should check me out, link below, right? And then a month later, those infamous clips of the Yandere dev are anonymously leaked via Cameron to r/Osana, which these audio clips are edited, by the way, and you can hear that there's definitely some conversation cut out, but they're more than damning enough, so it's not like that really matters all that much. I just felt like it was worth mentioning. And also, Cameron would be good at editing audio because he's a sound engineer and he understands these things and he can make music. He knows how to do that, okay? He knows how to use audio. So, okay, that's the story as it stands. Then a year passes, okay? And right before the iDub content cop drops, Cameron calls me to say this.
And I think now I can finally explain this. I did not have sex with Joe, okay? The reason I said that, the reason I was pressured into saying that, was because she had blackmailed me over something that happened to me when I was younger, and I didn't want it out, and she was trying to force me into this weird thing. It doesn't matter, I don't care anymore, because I have proof of her blackmailing me now, so it doesn't matter. I didn't have...
Okay, here's the thing about that, Cameron. If somebody attempts to put you in a position where they say, single player Carl, you have 75 hours to give me $1 million, or I expose what happened between you and this woman when you were in your early career. Nigga, I'm gonna tell everybody what I did. I'm gonna open up a stream. I'm gonna have a detailed document. I'm going to be wearing the finest robes and garments. I'm going to chew on a double whopper. And I'm going to tell everybody the evil, nasty secret you're trying to blackmail me for. The fuck is you think is about to happen? Because if you allow them to blackmail you, and you don't tell the truth, you're a dumbass. This is retarded. This is retarded. Fuck a Google Doc. I don't need a Google Doc. I don't need a Google Doc. Fuck I gotta tell a Google Doc for? I will tell people every excruciating detail. Once again, every time. I'm taking the B rabbit out, okay? I'm taking the 8-mile strategy. Tell these people something they don't know about me that I won't say myself. Sure, it's a list of my own L's and I'm begging you read a book. No, I'm not going to be crying while I'm doing it. I'm going to tell them what the fuck I did and how I did it. Period. Can't manipulate shit out of me. Not shit out of me. At this point in time, there are people in this audience that can probably tell my life story. Just from the details I've given to my live stream. It's all there. Why would you not just tell somebody that they're manipulating you?
I had sex with her. I wasn't interested in her. I met her to interview her. If you really care, if you care that much, I could prove it.
To which, by the way, this is an incredible claim, right? It's an incredible shift up in the story. And so I start to look into it because it is incredible, thinking maybe I missed something in my calls. And
also, if you went there to interview them, where's the footage of you interviewing them? Why did you not just find a camera, take a camera with you, use your cell phone, because you fucked her. Intentionally, willingly. Obviously. Like, no footage, no examples, no camera, no, I don't need none of that. Hey, put that pussy away. I ain't coming here for this. None of that. None of that. Because you wanted it. You wanted it. You needed it.
No, I didn't. I go through all my notes and recordings, and there's really nothing that can corroborate his story outside of Jelly being a liar. Now, the sex story is a he said, she said type situation, but remember, he admitted it himself. It's his words against him. Now, Cameron expressed to me he wanted to come back to commentary because he had a fondness for the genre, okay? We've talked about commentary a lot. He follows drama. It's unsurprising that posts from when he was with Dev have started to go missing since I started looking. My video does make him look bad, by the way, by fault of his own actions. I'm not surprised that he wants this video gone. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for somebody wanting to get into commentary to have this kind of thing dangling over you. This puts you in the impossible to defend position of the following. So, Cameron...
I mean, it's not really a hard to defend position. You just come out and you tell people about it yourself, so that it's not revealed by somebody else. You don't have to worry about a sword of Damocles swinging over your head. You just come out and you lash yourself in front of the commentary community. That's what you do. You tell people the truth before a single person tries to tell it for you, so that you don't have to deal with this. It's not gonna save you, mind you, because you had sex with a minor. You were loving it. Intimately. You literally, apparently, had her up in the air, Bible Black style. But it would be easier if you told the truth, because then you own the truth. They can't use that as a weapon to hurt you, because then everybody has the detail, and it's like, there will be no relitigation of this issue. There will be no relitigation of the issue. We all know what you did. We were there. We heard him say it. We saw him lash himself. We saw his back. It was beaten up. It looked like ground beef. It was no bigger issue. Period. Done. We're not going here again. Anyone trying to use it as a tool is just trying to hurt him. Blah, 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 blah. No, I know you're not talking about me, Neo J. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the thing that I was talking about. Alright. Document. 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 That's not it. That's Christian video. That's not it. It's Brian Mullins Fox. Document. 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 Itchy. Itchy. I don't remember you giving me a document specifically for this live stream. It's the same thread as the two other videos. Inside of which section? What was the name of it? Remind me. Because my brain's short-circuiting is assuming that it's a Black Griffin deep dive, but it can't be that because that's what I posted. Where did I get these videos from? I pulled these videos myself. I got the videos from the live stream from Foggy and the Aftermath of Yandere Dev from FPS Steel's channel. Clicking back through. Cameron. Not that one. Okay, here we go. Now I got it. New content cop. It was not labeled in a way that I would have recognized it. That's why. New content cop blown out by FPS Diesel. He's sus. I had my link stored somewhere else other than from your document. That's what was confusing me. Anyways, problem solved. Alright. We have a 20-page document. Does this fit? It does not fit. This will fit. Alright. CameronF305, former friend, collaborator, defender of Yandere Dev, and secret lover of Yandere Dev's victim. CameronF305, aka Cameron, is a YouTuber and former composer for the infamous Yandere simulator game, created by Yandere from 2020 to 2023. While working on the game, always worked as a liaison between other content creators and Yandev, defending him publicly, coming into fame when his content cop iDubbbz, examining the most recent content cop from iDubbbz, appropriates his style while using the money for charity, which is definitely a goodwill move. Despite this, past of dubious actions, allegedly sleeping with the grooming victim of Yandere Dev, serving as a truncated timeline of the events and the actions after the release of the video Fall of Yandere Dev, with never before seen release calls gathered in the year after this as a companion piece to go alongside this YouTube video, which is the aftermath of Yandere Dev. The introduction, the table of content, the known aliases, the history, and the content. Known aliases, we have the Twitter, the website. He has a website? He indeed has a website. Okay. He's got a Twitter, a website, a Patreon, his Bandcamp's probably for his release of Yandere Simulator. Yes, it is. An open Spotify, probably also for reposting Yandere Simulator. Yep. His Discord, his Instagram, and his Twitch. The associated collaborators, which includes Alex Mahan, Jelly/Ann, and Ali McC, now known as Ali's son. Decepticami, also known as RC, Correxa, SF, and Dr. Episis. First in the history, he was employed by Yandere Dev in September 2023, posting from a video of Ali McC titled The New Allegations Against Yandere Dev, chronicling recent grooming allegations by Yandere Dev being removed and uploaded on September 24th, 2023, according to Ali McC at Jelly's request, with Cameron actively defending Yandere Dev during the time in multiple comments, such as support the videos, no, I support this truth, she told him he was 18. On September 25th, 2023, Cameron goes on to a live stream with Jelly interviewing her about the experience of Yandere Dev uploaded to Odyssey, giving Yandere Dev victim a platform, re-upload. On September 26, 2023, Cameron made a post publicly splitting from Yandere Dev and Yandere Simulator. Jelly's comments about Ali McC's copyright strike in her video, as well as sentiments versus Cameron and Yandere Dev during this time, they're on good terms. October 28th, 2023, from Cameron DMs with Diesel about Jelly's previous involvement with Honeypop servers. Oh, I believe that. Just saying long term, because Jelly was always flip-floppy. She said the reason she avoided any of this because she got jealous and angry with Dev because of some jokes. Once she got over that, she felt bad, i.e. she's a 16-year-old girl with high-running emotions. So Jelly is no longer involved with these things anymore, as I've learned. However, the former Discord server that she was in with Honeypots is still inactive. It's called Bone Zone, full of people taking advantage of the kids. Jelly left for her self-preservation, I guess, but those people really need to be looked into. Cameron tells Diesel that he went to see family and drives out of state, where he meets up with Jelly after getting February 2023. Initially, it was pitched as a way to interview Jelly, which was later included in Cameron's response about Crex's allegations, which was then privated. Post Yandev, with a relationship with Jelly and Ann, in the time that Cameron split with Yandere Dev, he and Jelly would form a friendship and bond over the interaction of Dev. Cameron telling Diesel he went to go see a family, where he met up with Jelly, initially pitched as an interview, but included, then later uplisted and privated, sometime in December 2023, meets Jelly again in person, and according to Cameron, they have sex. At the end of December, Jelly was publicly reinforcing her claim that Cameron did not rape her, and makes public posts defending Cameron. By January 2024, Jelly had confirmed that she had lied to Ali about accusations towards him. By the end of January, Jelly reaches out to Diesel, accusing Cameron of harassment, goes on to say that he's a predator, but not just grabbing on his opinions of Cresta, Cameron's ex-roommate, saying that dick pic is fake. Why is he showing his erection under clothes? Did you like his apology? I thought he did a pretty good job. I told him to wear a hat. Hey, I've been having fun out with Cameron. Resentment towards him building for a while, so he torched me to kiss him. It isn't sexual assault or anything, which means it's not a problem. And he didn't force you? You wanted it? Question mark? It isn't sexual assault or anything. He tried to do a lot more to me that Cresta claims he did to her. Trying to believe her. He made me think I was overreacting the way that I did with her, and I just be careful. Not saying he's a predator or anything. Just don't take him what he says about her as fact. She's 100% a psycho. But Cameron can be seen as really manipulative and good at downplaying things. Also, he initiated sexual stuff with me 9 times and even recorded some of it. I don't know if he deleted them like I asked him to. The dick pic / wasn't his naked penis, but it was erect in his underwear, and he was showing me. Letting a man lie and get away with it. You tried to turn 3 girls against each other, not great. 4 if you crowned the wonderful Crexa. What was 5 at Alley? Broski. It keeps going. You. And then, the windmills. The windmills. You had a bad illegal sexual experience with CameronF305. My DMs are open. I'll believe you. It all comes back to my DMs are open. Share your DMs with me. Crexa allegations. Sometimes in late January, Jelly and Cameron's friendship deteriorated, and Elaine McSee felicitated the call between Jelly and Crexa. Jelly writing Crexa. Additional information at her Google Doc on Cameron. See below. On February 2nd, 2024, Crexa posted allegations against Cameron on all accounts. Cameron debunked these allegations with Google Doc. Let's to hear for Blockability. Crexa Drive 1 and Crexa Drive 2. On March 17th, 2024, FPS Diesel posts his video on Yandere Dev, CameronF305, Alan McSee, and Jelly. Later that day, FPS Diesel live stream. Going over the video, Cameron calls in with the highlights being below with timestamps. Calling in, said he watched the video and that it was good, but only the parts relevant to him. Cameron states that people are accusing him of rape, which he denies happened. States he has no ill will against Diesel. Says he knows that Diesel thinks because he's been around commentary. Diesel brings up Cameron having sex with Jelly when he was 19 and she was 16. Cameron refuses to say she was 17 and his previous admission was AI or a robot. Cameron states that he watched the relevant parts of the video. Diesel brings up Cameron's statement about not flying out to have sex with Jelly. Sex to Big Dick Randy allegations. Cameron doesn't think him addressing the allegation hurts his case in the video. Diesel expresses to Cameron that the way he structures his argument about Jelly, Cameron inadvertently calls himself a pedophile. Diesel asks Cameron if he's still friends with Jelly. Cameron says no. Diesel expresses to Cameron that Jelly baited pedophiles. Cameron says he doesn't care and only blames the history of abuse with her mother, which isn't a good explanation, but I guess it's close enough. Cameron says that his argument wasn't that he didn't sleep with Jelly, just that he didn't rape her or do anything unconsensual. Cameron proceeds to explain why the Google Drive was changed. Diesel catches him in a lie, defending Jelly again. Cameron says the only thing he's worried about is his future career. When confronted about Cameron's account of having sex with Jelly, Cameron quotes the Bing Chilling meme verbatim. Withholding evidence. Following call consists of Cameron reaching out to FPS Diesel about Dev and his upcoming content cop. After the call, asking him to remove his section of the video. Shortly after, FPS Diesel organized a second call with Cameron with the associated clips. I'm not sure why Cameron is claiming he saw me down there and insecure about that stuff. He never saw, and I don't remember, IDRK? I don't really know. I don't really know what to do now. He's like, anyways, he's trying to visit me again. I rejected his advances like I do literally every day. And he's still trying to come see me for his spring break. Why did you want to see me for spring break? To hang out, but I'm reconsidering. Oh, you're reconsidering. Definitely not because I said no. And then instances of Cameron supervising Jelly. Interesting. Wonder bar. I was about to say it was an upgrade from 14 pages. Don't think it, don't say it. Don't think it, don't say it. Don't think it, don't say it. If you say it, he'll never shut the fuck up about GTA 6. Alright. Exposing the past. This is the stream in question that they were watching. We are not going to watch all of this. The thing broke. Every fucking time it fucking breaks. I can't. Okay. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but we're going to try to watch the segmented portions that are relevant, which basically is the first hour. Let us begin. stream.
They're live.
Lots of music, lots of music, lots of music, lots of music. And here we
Hello,
are.
everybody. Hello, hello. Hey, it's Ty. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Let's get into the thing. Which one is this one? Sometimes the camera. Yep, there it is. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Hey, it's Ty. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, hello.
I see he likes that black background that I made for him.
Look to see each and every one of you today. Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hot Block, your one-stop shop for everything commentary, news, research, and a little bit of other stuff. I'm your host, Falgi.Exe. Where the dog at? She's somewhere. The dog is always somewhere in this home. I'm convinced that she knows when I stream now, and she's literally just like, I will make my appearance. You guys have not paid her appearance fee yet, so that's why he's not here. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, I do see you. I see each and every one of you. But yes, yes, yes. And joining me today are some of my favorite people on the internet. You know them. You love them. It's Q. So what's going on, Q?
I have a small story for everyone. I want to share it.
Okay.
So, I work second shift. I work second shift at my job, and I like my job. I was waking up, and you know, sometimes you get a Charlie horse in your calf, and you gotta like jump out of bed.
What
to
the dog doing?
Stretch out your calf muscle so you don't go crazy. What's up?
Oh no, people are donating, so I just thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, and so what happened was, I jump out of bed. But I jump, my foot falls onto my wife's scoop. So I'm taking off balance. I tip around. Bubba, one of my cats, he's under my legs. I'm losing my balance. I'm toppling over, and suddenly, I fall backwards. Now I don't know how many of you buy like IKEA type furniture. I'm sure some of you do. We do. That we have a black end table, 2 pairs of end tables, and the corner is very sharp. And when I fell backwards, the corner decided it wanted to take out like a gouge of my back in a massive line.
Ah, fuck, that's painful.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
that has been the starter of my morning so far today.
Yeah, that's kind of how it does. Listen, it's okay. Hey, Cameron, what's up? What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Cameron.
Cameron, we're gonna be reacting to your video today. Very appreciated, very cool, very nice, very poggies. If you want to come on to stream, by all means, you can come on. Usually what we like to do is if we have an individual who is, usually if we have somebody who's like on the stream, whose stuff it is, we do try to just grab them every once in a while. It's just like kind of one of those things. Yeah, send you a link? Yeah, sure. Somebody, one of our mods, can you please place it in the chat? One of the mods, please, place the Discord in the chat. Thank you guys so much. And guys, you know who he is. You love him. You hate him. It's Uncool Greg. What's going on, Greg?
I'm dangerously sick. So I'm actually considering just dipping here.
You probably can.
But I probably can.
Yeah.
Okay. But I will be in chat. I will be in chat.
Greg, we love you.
How did I get sick? You'll never guess it. On the bus.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
Cameron, if you hop in the general chat, one of the mods is going to drag you into our waiting room, and then we'll grab you on.
Good luck. I'll be
Take it easy, Greg. Feel better.
Q, you doing good, buddy?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm getting something down with you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm fine.
Let's see. Okay. All right, chat. Without further ado, the man of the hour himself. It's CameronF305. Cameron, you are live in here. What's going on, man?
Because it's breaking again.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna worry you just a little bit, just because you're very, very loud. But what's going on, man? How you doing? You've been writing high off of this video. I've been noticing. I've been seeing.
Yeah, I just recorded a well-anticipated next video, so.
Oh, interesting. Is the next video like related to any of this stuff? Is it like in any relation to anything?
No, I did that very intentionally.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to make everyone assume that I'm going to either just be making like political content or Ethan Hassan Destiny content or anything like that. So I'm just enjoying myself.
Okay. I see.
But it is a commentary video. It is a funny, like similar vibe kind of video, but it's a bit less skits and shit.
So I guess like we'll probably go into your video a little bit, but I'm very curious for those who don't know you, because you did have an internet presence at the time. It seems like you were making music. You took some time off. For those who don't know you, Cameron, who are you?
I'm CameronF305. I'm a musician. I'm in school for music. That was kind of like my thing. But nowadays, I mean, I always started as like a content creator, and I'm kind of back to that, and I'm feeling good about it. And people seem to be receptive of it. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's such an interesting video that you put out because a lot of people would be thinking that you essentially, I'm not gonna say you aped the style. That feels like kind of phony in a way, but you did pay homage to it in a sense that really examines iDubbbz in a way that a lot of people find very, very interesting. And I'm very curious kind of what the impetus for it was, what was just like your general feelings of why you felt like this needed to be made.
So, from Foggy, what I learned from him is that he more or less put out the feelers to attempt to get Cameron feeling comfortable here. In the way that I said earlier, it is acceptable and fine to do. Now, my opinion, as a person who specializes in conversations and hosting one-on-ones, preferably you don't want to bring people there under false pretenses so that they don't have a reason to try to be defensive, and you instead put them in the secure place that they can be, so they simply tell you everything that you'd like to ask them questions to and have answer plainly. But His goal was to bring Cameron there to speak to him by setting the groundwork to glaze him. We can see the beginning of the machination of the work done here at 1809.
So I've been wanting to make a video like this, I think since 2022, when Ian was kind of shooing off most of his fan base by saying, like, by comparing, because he didn't make the distinction, he just compared his audience to basement dwellers and shit. I found that kind of like, okay, dude, like, I get it, there were probably some radical people in your audience, but treating everyone like that was kind of rubbing me the wrong way. But I wanted to give him a chance. I wanted to see where this new content direction was gonna go. And it seemed like he tried to overcorrect to a point where it just became pure uninteresting shit. So at that point, he was just kind of irrelevant. I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna worry about making it. And plus, I was making music at the time. I was too busy. But then circumstances changed. I'm a lot more, free now. I'm not focusing on music as much these days. And this content cop, I mean, I still do it at school, so. But yeah, he dropped this content cop, and it was a real, like, not only was it just a fucking awful video, but it was kind of a stab to the series itself. So I felt really impassioned to make a video about it.
Very, very cool. Now, you go to school for music, you said music production, I assume, or?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. I went to music conservatorium for college at one time. So, like,
hell yeah.
I was opera singer for many years. So, it's actually,
nice.
The music to, like, YouTube, whatever pipeline is kind of really funny. I always, it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of us musicians really enjoy doing, like, the verbal side of content creation as well, and then it just, like, kind of delves into, like, the audiovisual side and stuff like that, and I do find that, like, very, very fascinating. It seems like you really dove into this content. Now, how old are you? Just remind me.
I'm 20.
You're 20, okay. Okay, you're not old enough to drink, man. What the hell?
Almost.
Almost, damn. What's your birthday?
July 1st.
July 1st. Damn, that's real close. But so, you're not even old enough to drink. You're not even out of college. And you create a video that is literally rocking the commentary landscape, right?
He makes an emphasis of calling out his age here, so that he can emphasize how old he is. Because at this point, if he was 19 when he slept with her, and then she turned 17 when confronted, it means that he should be closer to 21, and she would be closer to 19. So the age gap remains, since it's a 3-year difference. So, minorism.
What does that feel like?
I gotta be real. It's very overwhelming. I'm pretty outgoing. I would say.
Drama, Alex. You missed drama.
Like I've always been like a kind of like around like my friends and stuff, like very charismatic, very outgoing. But like when like it came to the internet, I've always been kind of like I'm a little like I don't know what I want to put out there. I don't know how to put stuff out there. So I really kind of just took a step and said, you know what, fuck it. I'm passionate about this. I'm gonna just do this. I expected maybe like 10 to 30,000 views, max. But that's not what happened.
Yeah, I mean, like, if we pull the video up real quick, because I don't know if you're watching, because sometimes your remote doesn't let you hear it or see anything.
Yeah, I'm looking.
All right, very cool. There's no movies around. I love having the foodies.
Okay, now it's being projected inside the server.
But like, looking at this real quick, I just want to highlight this, man. You've raised over $6,000 for charity, and if I remember correctly, it's more than iDubbbz has, right?
Yeah, it's more than he did on his video trying to overcorrect. Yeah. So it's more than Creative Clash 2 because that was net zero.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice comment. He made a fucking charity on his Creative Clash 2 thing. Yeah. And then that didn't get much. He got like I think 5,600. Yeah.
Oh. So you really it really seems like you came out of nowhere. You said that you were doing music for a period of time, right? You were doing this. You were doing music for a period of time. You didn't really know what you wanted to do on the platform. You were really kind of all over the place. Not necessarily.
There's a couple things there. With the music aspect, I mean, I was working for a project at the time, which is pretty controversial, especially nowadays, and I had to quit because crazy shit happened. I think you probably know. I think you know about that.
I've heard a little bit from what I know. Now,
yeah.
Now, to be fair, I'm here, impartial, obviously. I do know a little bit about history.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, there was a lot of shit that was said about me during that time, and that's part of why I was like, oh, fuck this, man. Because of my prior associations, they thought I was doing a bunch of other shit that wasn't entirely true, and so, regardless of that.
Yeah, and regardless of that, you essentially.
I decided to keep the music stuff, personal passion projects, and try to move on to content I was more passionate about.
Interesting. So, you moved on to this. So this is an interesting thing for me, as someone who's done a little bit of writing myself and things like that, and a little bit of scripting. And I kind of noticed this. You were very on top of this content style.
Yeah.
What, like, did you watch hours of it? Was this something you grew up with? Like, I'm very curious.
Oh yeah, I grew up the filthy frank, edgy teenager, for sure. I mean, I won't deny that. I feel like it's pretty obvious. Yeah. That shit was hilarious to me when I was in middle school, high school. But I felt like, oh, you're fine. Yeah. I kind of fell out of those content creators like iDubbbz and H3 for a while. It wasn't until recently that I started finding Ethan funny again. Oh. And just for being funny, it wasn't really political at all. Because generally, when I'm watching content or listening to content, I keep politics to the news, and I keep like my entertainment to entertainment.
Yeah.
Not saying there's not a market to conflate the two, but you know what I mean. That's just me. But yeah, so it was hard to get into Ethan's content for a while, but I got back into it, and then all this shit starts happening. And I was like, well, I want to get back into making videos. I was gonna do not Mama Max, I'm Alex.
Really?
And yeah, because I made a couple streams about it. Then I saw how many pages the fucking document was, and I'm like, you know what? I already do homework as it is.
I had to go through a fucking 300-page document for the last drama I've been covering. So like, I kind of get it. Fucking insane.
Yeah. Like I spend way too many hours doing homework and writing essays as it is. Yeah. To be reading one.
Yeah. No, 100%. Because like it's something that stuck out to me in the video when I first watched it. I think I've watched it like once or twice. I don't typically pre-watch videos, but this one I wanted to kind of like understand and things like that. I do have some issues with the video. Brother, you be telling me that you are going to school for music, but there are some moments where the audio balancing is fucking bonkers. I was like, I fucking took my headphones off one time. I was like, did something fucking fall in my room? Like did my dog like get into something? Because I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, no, you are not the first, and I realized. So this video took a long time to export. It took like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And towards the end, I realized the video itself was too quiet. So I, quickly went and replaced the audio files. I quickly compressed them and went to the other ones. And I just didn't have time. And I was like, I gotta get this shit out, or else everything's gonna be fucking dead.
Yeah.
I got it. And I realized I overcompressed myself. It sounds like dog shit. And I was like, I'm gonna have to go with this. I hope it doesn't sound bad enough for everyone. But I know some people are gonna be on my ass for this. And yeah, in the future, that's not gonna be an issue. I promise.
Now, I guess the pointed question that I would ask, because I know your history, right? A little bit of it, because I've looked up the content and stuff.
Right.
Are you doing a content comp on Yondev?
Ooh, yeah, I've gotten that a lot. So I have put a lot of thought into it, and I have considered it seriously. Currently, I'm leaning on probably not. And the reason for that isn't because I don't think he's the person who deserves to, have his shit looked into and stuff.
Yeah.
But I totally do, and I think a lot of people competently have. I think a great video was one by June the King. That one really got into it. But mainly because content, I'm trying to stay true to it, where in the sense where it's about the content rather than, I guess the person as much. Like, there's always more of the content, and I really don't, I guess, have a problem with his game development update content, like, whatever. So, maybe like a video on its own, I'm not against, but a content comp specifically, probably not.
Okay. So, but a video on it, because I think it's a fascinating thing.
It's not necessarily useful for you to put it in that context, because then it's basically based on all the normies that pick up your shit. Normies pick up your shit. They don't pay attention to the deeper details. You tell them about the details, they say, I don't care. His voice is funny, and that's all that matters. I don't know, bro. A man that can do all that level of salacious action and behavior material and then pretend like that shit is not something he's deeply involved in like he is here, that's a bit crazy.
To make post-mortems on things you're a part of. Yeah, we've had to do it on the channel as well.
No,
and
I'm listening to him.
Those things where it's like, how do I express this? And I'm curious what your thoughts are. You do have to re-examine your role in whatever, whether or not you were actively a part of it, you were a bystander, or you got caught somewhere in the middle. And I'm really curious when it comes to a situation like that. If, let's say you had to make a video, because I'm sure a lot of people have asked you and things like that. So let's say not a content comp, right? Let's just be honest, right? If you had to make a video, in your mind, how would you do it?
Well, it would be very comprehensive. I would do it like probably more of a documentary type deal.
Okay.
And I would probably not. I mean, I would mention, like, I guess, yeah, I was a composer, and I was very friendly with, the developer. And a big part of that was there's a lot of emotions tied to it because I was a kid. I was 15 when all that started. Yeah. This is something that I feel now as an adult, I was very manipulated, very lied to, very betrayed. And there's a lot of emotions that still are very potent from all of that. So if I ever do it, it will be a long time away. And plus, that community is something I really just don't want to, get back with because they're very...
Because you'll get fucking bowled down by the community that you used to be involved in.
It's a very K-pop stan-esque type deal.
Okay. I do get what you're coming from. Because it's like I
want to post that like my fucking dog died and get like a fan cam of Yandere-chan or something dancing in the fucking skies. Like,
Well, I think it's interesting because you were a kid when you started up with him. You said you were 15, right? And it all kind of blew up when you were about 19, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I was fresh boy 19.
Oh god, don't say. We have a joke here. Somebody says freshly 19. I will just pull every fucking cord out of my computer. I forgot what we were covering something and someone said they were like freshly 24, and I was just like, there's the fucking way.
Freshly.
This is where Foggy starts working the shaft and you the balls. Because this is the point where we're past the 30-minute mark. And this is where it starts going extremely quickly.
Freshly, yeah, fresh. I guess freshly can be used in like I was freshly 24. I was practically a baby.
Yeah, it's like I was 24. I definitely didn't mean to groom that minor. Like I was just 24, and we were just in the DMs. It's okay, freshly 24. You don't understand. Oh no, she was. Listen, you don't understand. So when I bought her the Polly Pocket, it was definitely because I was only 24. If I was 25, I wouldn't have bought her. I would have bought her Tamagotchis. You don't understand. So we have a joke here on this platform. We have the adult minor joke. We also have the reverse predator joke. Because
the reverse predator.
Okay, so we have a reverse predator joke. And I'll explain to you what the reverse predator joke is. So the reverse predator.
Hey,
yeah, what's up?
Before you get into that, my lunch is over my head up, buddy.
All right, see you later, bud. So we have this thing called the reverse predator. So there's this guy a long time ago. If you ever see this channel, because this channel's like not even a year old yet. And we had this guy. Yeah, thank you. We had this guy. His name was Scarlet Reaper. And he was saying the crazy shit on the internet. And one of the things he said was he identified minors that groom adults. And he was, he was like, listen, like a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, this kid can groom this adult. Now I understand that may be confusing. He was like, you don't understand. The minors.
Defies sense of logic.
Yeah, right.
You can't like if you have to be willing. Like, there's an aspect of I guess whatever fucking seduction or whatever, where you have to kind of be a willing participant. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing where he was like, because lo and behold, he would say he got raped in VrChat at like 19. Unironically, he on a live stream told with a complete straight face, my sexual assault was in VrChat. The minor came on to me and I couldn't pull the headset off fast enough.
Oh my fucking god, dude! I hear shit like that. I need to go to church, man.
brother, there is so much I tell you right now, it's one of the greatest post mortems. If you know, there's a YouTube friend I have out there. His name is British Runner. Made a really like fucking funny video on the dude. And it's one of those things where it's like if you know just how these people think, and especially with kids, right? You know how they think. Like they're not that manipulative. They're not that easy to like. An adult understands what a child is doing, right? Like we can both agree on that, right?
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, because like it's one of those things where it's definitely like very. I know it's off topic, but like we're talking about content. We are talking about your past, like because like it's John Dev. A lot of people know about his story, and things like that. And it's like he was completely willing, right? He was completely willing and able to do that, and he wanted to. What his fantasy was. It's just the whole thing that he was about. And it's just one of those things where it's like I can't believe, and I can't believe he got away with it for so long. Especially like essentially, like, in a way, he groomed you, too. Like, you know, he made you...
I mean, I can tell you why. Because a lot of people that were my age and a lot of kids either grew up with it and didn't, like, just were oblivious, kind of didn't realize. Like, I didn't think about any of this stuff until, like, I really didn't rethink all of these little things until long after. Like, I was able to, I guess, like...
Long after you were removed, or after you realized exactly how far it went? Because even when you're a child, why would you just sign up to work on somebody's fucking project randomly? Randomly, you decide to work on somebody's project. Granted, I worked on the project series of Five Nights at Fuckboy, from part 1 to part 3, including all of the hardest super boss fights, using my time of programming while I was in college, because I viewed it as experience going into my collegiate program, and used it as such. But I was already a graduate out of high school when that happened. There's no way I'm gonna get involved into a guy's media and mobile empire idea of making a video game at a young age when this motherfucker is several parts my senior without there being an adult responsible. The fuck?
Marinate.
Yeah.
And it really, like, hit me like a fucking truck. I was like, Jesus.
I'm sorry for that. Seriously, I am. Like, that's not... It's not a fun thing. It sounds like... Yeah, in a way, he kind of... Whether you were his protege, whether he did anything, you know, from what I understand, like... You know, he kind of like, he was your friend from what I remember. Again, I'm not entirely familiar, I'll be blunt, not entirely familiar with everything. I know parts, because I was in around the internet, but I wasn't into drama. And I think that it's like really interesting that you have...
I was not trying to double click that. I was trying to set up so I could use the space bar.
Someone who...
Like that.
Essentially came from something very, very dark and created something actually like very competently well made. Very competently well made. I guess...
I know he would have hated the video. He hated any kind of drama videos.
Really?
He was pro iDubbbz quitting content cop, yeah.
Really? What?
And I told him that was like retarded. Can I say that here?
Yeah, you can say that. No shit. You can slur, I don't slur.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, I told him that she was retarded. Like, it was about criticism more than anything. It wasn't about harassment.
Yeah.
But I mean, he saw himself as the eternal victim, so.
Yeah, I think that's like...
No. In the case of Yandere Devon, for any person who's trying to hide something, public displays of conversation look like opportunities for exposure. From what I've witnessed in my own experience and what I have seen in my own experience, people do not do well under the pressure of an uncontrolled space for the same reason a pedophile being caught in a sting operation doesn't like not being able to control the space in the venue. If you go to their territory and their space and their environment, it is easier for them to manipulate you and set you up for a fool. So, you have to have a plan.
And you know what's really interesting? That kind of ties into iDubbbz, right? iDubbbz kind of sees himself, the current arc that he's in, as the eternal victim. Like, he really sees himself. And I feel like you got to it in this video, and you kept touching on it. Especially because, like, if we do talk about Anissa for a second, like, there's that interplay of, like, what's going on, what's happening, how she affects his content. And how do you feel about it? I know you mentioned it in the video. We'll go over it a little bit here and there if we've got the time. But I'm curious, like, how do you feel about how the drama has shaken up between, not just the Ethan Hassan, Destiny, fucking Triad, Confusion, whatever, but, like, how do you feel like it's shaken up?
I feel like, you mean how it like started off and like...
Yeah, how it started off, how it started, like, especially, like, 'cause a lot of people, like, look at Anissa, the empathy at 30 comment, and it's like, oh, what's happening?
That does sound like some shit she would fucking say in that podcast.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she has.
She compared her situation to Etika, and, like, that is one of the... And by the way, I saw Diorio say this, and I was like, that's so fucking true, because he was reacting to my video. And he said, every time anyone brings up Etika, it's just the guy who committed suicide. And it's so true, because, like, no one looks at him for all the cool shit, like, the funny reactions, like, he kind of pioneered, like, the, like, gaming reaction content, like, genre. Like, he kind of paved the way for people like Hyson out for I'm Dante, people like that, to,
Not really. It was a combination of Etika and a combination of Low Tier God. And every other black person that has ever existed that exists in their space that made it possible for men with high energy and high reactions to make shit possible. The Etikas and the Low Tier Gods and the IFC Yipes and the Marvin Pies and the Black Yoshi FGCs made way for the spaces and places for niggas like me. And every other black YouTuber that existed outside the skeptic sphere. So, not Marcus Brownlee, but other ones. Like Just Some Black Guy and Some Black Guy. Those are the people who are responsible for that movement. But unfortunately, some of them are YouTube versus the ones that are on Twitch. Etika, from what I remember, was a Twitch ban. And thus, the Joy-Con boys, and those a part of Joy-Con boys, were the responsibility for that. But that's completely tangential to the point why we're here.
Like, have the platform that they had. And no one talks about that. They talk, oh, he was the mental health guy. I bet you that's the last thing he wanted to be remembered as, you know?
Yeah.
So I find Denise's comments very tasteless.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Sorry, continue.
No, you can go ahead.
No. You first, because I have a thought process to that. I want to hear what you have to say, because you said about Anissa, yeah.
I think in terms of Ian, like, it's very true that in certain senses that your surroundings can mold you. And I do think that Anissa has rubbed off heavily on Ian. However,
Okay, so here's my question then, in response to that. Do you think in your actions that any of your manipulation tactics of trying to hide information that Yandere Dev rubbed off on you? I mean, besides the fact you were rubbed off inside of Anne, allegedly. Do you think that any of the manipulation tactics of you trying to control the object's information controlled you and controlled the space and environment for your ability to navigate these troubled waters? Because as a victim of the rape, you find yourself in a position where you're trying to control who you speak to and how you're perceived, and that doesn't come from instinct. You don't start being a person, making content, and have BR relation skills. That doesn't happen out of nothing. You don't just up at the cut and whoop, I'm very good at what I'm doing here. I know how to answer questions. I know how to avoid questions. You learn these things over time. So did you learn from Yandere Dev, or rather, learning when you had to basically, effectively, be a Tard Wrangler for Yandere Dev? Did you use the tactics that you learned from the background there to prepare yourself for handling this shit here? The obvious answer is yes.
I don't think it was entirely that. I think a big part of it as well was Ian went so long being untouched.
Yeah.
And once the OnlyFans shit happened, he saw his first bit of backlash. And then, a bunch of other dominoes started falling. And then once it kind of...
I mean, really, all he had to say in that situation is, my wife wants to have an OnlyFans. I don't care about that. I fuck her frequently and actively. If you want to get that, pay $20. Because Lord knows Adam22 and Lady the Plug paved the way for that. More about Pete Thingle doing things like that at a later date on another VsChat. When we talk about what I have coming up for a piece of idea. I already pinned the thread. But, the easiest way that he could have been able to walk himself out of that was just simply not fucking care. Who cares if she's fucking if she's selling it out there? It's like, damn, that's crazy. You pay for something that I get every single night for free. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That should have been the angle that he should have taken if he was interested in defending himself on that. But that's not what he did. And it clearly was tearing him up inside because he just couldn't handle the fact that he was getting pressure and that his goodwill of being a big YouTuber didn't get people to back down. Mainly because he trained his audience to do it in the first place, so there's that factor.
Like Mary Sam Hyde. Yeah. And he gets duped over by someone who I would consider their content styles to be very similar back in the day. Yeah. And it's kind of like, in that way, there was something very...
The content style of iDubbbz and the content style of Sam Hyde are not the same because Ian Joma is not a stand-up comedian, whereas Sam Hyde is. All of his work and material works in the concept of being able to have a captive audience. Ian's content only works with a certain type of perspective in mind, the same way that Borderlands as a franchise does, which is for those that were disaffected left-leaning liberals that existed in a state of dirtbag leftism. As that audience grew up, the people who became more captured by their audience, just like Joma, were going to turn, and those that were supposedly the right-wing incels that were saying, I can't believe my hero's fallen, those were the people you sacrificed on your altar of gaining a new audience. Kind of exactly like the people that Cameron had to sacrifice to find himself in his position of success. Realizing that he could be able to compare himself as a new upcoming great to somebody who lost his touch.
Very symbolic about that. Yeah. And then from there, it's just a further regression. And I think another aspect of it was there was probably some truth to. He had some weird fan interactions. I'm sure I believe him 100% when he says people came up to him and parasocially thought they were best friends and started saying the N-word and doing crazy shit. I think that's weird. Absolutely.
Because he made an audience environment of making it very clear that he's not a person who believes in the deprivating it takes of individuals who think things are possible. In other words, when people come up to me and they're like, wow, you can be able to not dead name a person, but also misgendering a trans woman is something you will be able to do. You can accept racism. Like, you can accept racism, but you can't accept transgender ideology. It's the same shit. And unfortunately, no. iDubbbz at no time made it very clear that he was the kind of person that would not change and pull a troll's remorse, and he did. The same way nobody knows what you'll fucking do, because realistically, you can't look at your situations and not see the obvious parallels. All you gotta do to be able to have a successful career is effectively just say, bro, you don't know what happened, and be a shit poster, and then say, bro, I'm trying to get back to my video. I'm just in a goofy mood. I'm just a goofy goober.
I think all that had a factor, and I think he did a big overcorrection.
So, I guess, do you? I think you're kind of hinting at it a little bit, but I'm really curious. It almost sounds like you aren't fully convinced, from what I understand. You aren't fully convinced about the Anissa wholesale changing him. It sounds like Ian made his own decisions, but it was, in your mind, an overcorrection. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
I see your parallel here, Foggy. By comparing him and by comparing iDubbbz and Anissa, claiming that it's not that Yoko Ono'd him into these positions. These are things that are already in him. He's establishing the parallel between Cameron and his actions. So, he sets him up. Does he take the bait?
For a long time, I did think it was Anissa. Because, I mean, it kind of made sense, especially in, like, 2022. And then I think my opinion really changed while researching this video, because like, I really in-depth went through it all. And I was like, well, I don't think he was without free will, but I think also, after being so untouchable for so long and then getting that big fucking, like just getting slapped in the face with a bunch of hate. That video, by the way, is where he, like, teased a content top. Like, and it never came out. And I think that was a big turning point. So it did have to do with Anissa, and I think it, like, if I put it in numbers-wise, like, maybe 50% of his change was Anissa, and the rest was a bunch of other factors.
Yeah, because it's like, I think that's like a part of your video that I find pretty fascinating, is you highlight kind of the history of iDubbbz and just like his involvement with this, and I'm hearing you now, I kind of get where you're coming from. It seems like you're making the very compelling argument that Ian, like the rest of us, like you and me, is in charge of his own faculties. Whether or not we'd like to admit that he changed is the different story. Is that pretty much
setting up the fact that Cameron is responsible for what Cameron chooses to do and does, just like iDubbbz is responsible for the things that he says and does not say?
What you would agree?
Yeah, I think regardless of who has an impact on you or not, everyone is in charge of their own faculties, just on principle. So, and I think,
and hook, line, and fucking sinker, he's using his own argument against him. Dear God, he does not imagine a fucking apple. He doesn't imagine a fucking apple, chat. Here's your tree, here's the apple. He tries to grab the apple, it's not there.
Kind of removing that caricature of Ian the internet cuck and kind of making it more of a, okay, like realistically, put yourself in this guy's shoes. I would obviously do everything way fucking differently than he did, but just kind of understanding.
Woo! Play that back. That was an admission. That was an admission. That was an admission.
Own faculties. Whether or not we'd like to admit that he changed is the different story. Is that pretty much what you would agree?
Yeah, I think regardless of who has an impact on you or not, everyone is in charge of their own faculties, just on principle. So, and I think kind of removing that caricature of Ian the internet cuck and kind of making it more of a, okay, like realistically, put yourself in this guy's shoes. I would obviously do everything way fucking differently than he did, but
put your guy's self in his shoes. If I was him, I would have done things way more differently. People are responsible for the things that they say and do, but if it was me, wouldn't be me though. It is at this point that Cameron is fully cooked. Because effectively, he is making the case for why Foggy set up the situation. Because Foggy didn't want people to know about his involvement so that it didn't overshadow his video. Because if it overshadowed his video, he doesn't get the ability to walk away looking squeaky clean, the hero, and have the track record that then leads to the kind of modicum success a career can have. Instead, he's effectively saying, if I was smart and I was duplicitous, I'd be able to get people to be on my side, and I'd make it so that I would never have the problems that iDubbbz has. Well, buddy boy, you're about to have a lot more problems, chief.
Just kind of understanding. More so that there was probably more to it than just crazy succubus ruined his life.
Yeah. It sounds like part of your video process is like getting into the subject. Would that be like right to say in a way?
Yeah.
Have you like in your life, right? Because it sounds.
Getting into your subject. Okay, Foggy. All right. You're making them word plays that I would do. I see you, boy. I see you, baby.
Sounds like you understand iDubbbz. You really understand a lot of just you do have a percentage in your head. In your own life, do you feel like at any time that you ever control to do something like some way that you can empathize with? No, but seriously, like any like time that you feel like you can empathize with iDubbbz, because it sounds like you do empathize with him.
To a certain extent. I don't feel bad for him these days.
Yeah.
But there was periods of my life where I was definitely manipulated and controlled into doing things I probably would have otherwise done.
He starts laughing because he found it credulous. He's being incredulous, and then walks it back down.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I see.
Yeah.
Oh. No,
But
yeah.
no comment, no further comment.
No further comment on it? Oh, no further comment. Brother, listen, we are still streaming here. You know what? Everyone calls me the soy Italian here. You wanna know why they call me that? Because every time somebody fucking comes up here, I'm like the nicest motherfucker to this guy, like ever. Like I'm always nice. People find it very off-putting. They're like, oh, you're like you have like way too much emotional intelligence. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like it's just what we do here. I find that it's much better to be upfront and honest. You know, so if you feel
right,
yeah.
no, I agree with you. It's just that whole situation. I mean, we touched on it earlier.
Yeah.
It's like a can of worms. I'm still like
still processing it.
It's still more so like moving past. Like that's kind of like something that is, you know, I'm getting past it, and I feel like it's time to.
How do you need to move past it? Aren't you several fucking months removed away from it from this point? You've had all that extra time to be able to remove yourself from it. Why would it still be too raw for you to speak on?
Let it go for my sanity, and I have been able to, and I do like when I release it, but like, you know, it's just shit that like,
yeah,
I'd rather not.
You'd rather not like engage with.
Right.
It's like
waste of energy.
Yeah, I think it is a waste of energy. I think like if you're trying to move on, I guess like how do I say this? Because again, I guess people are gonna ask you, are you gonna make like I did? I asked you if you're gonna make a video. Like, what do you think the best way to move on from like that part of your life is? Do you think that some people do like some fucking people do the twit longer shit and that's fucking gay. Some people like make a video on it, like we discussed before. Some people just say, hey, I don't want to engage in it. Some people just like, listen, you bring it up. I'll make the same statement continually and over. Like, what is a really good way that you would want to move on with it?
Well, I've actually already done some.
Realistically, the correct answer to this question, if you're a content creator, is the correct way to address the problem is to do a tell-all. Because people are going to ask you the question. If they're going to call to your stream, ask you the question, try to stop your stream, agitate the question about things that people claim that they don't already know and understand about you. You just put it in a video, and they will leave the fuck alone, because now you can direct people towards that video. It's the most effective technique and measure that works. If they're desperate for the attention of it, you put it out as an unlisted video as a part of a playlist, so that it does not take up the majority of the time and the drag of watch hours on your content. Otherwise, you have it in some place on some other format away from your material, so that these two things are not into confliction. However, the more effective emotional fronting example, because the first example is a form of frame control. Even if it is to protect your own peace, it's a form of frame control. Instead, you put it up for everybody to see, and you leave the comments alone, on. You let them do whatever. You allow it to exist. You don't think about it. You don't talk about it. You don't look at it. You don't consider it. You take it all like a life note, and you write down the things, and you say the things that you need to say and do and feel, and you get it out, and you leave it there. You don't touch it. You don't touch it at all. So that when a person asks, what is he talking about? Where's the context? I need the context. I need to know. People can go search for it themselves. And then you just literally, legitimately forget it's there. Because grief in that kind of way is antagonism and self-harm masquerading as healing. It is preventing the methodology of healing and growth, because it is fear wearing the skin of insecurity. You are not harmed and you are not healing if you are waiting for permission for the story to change the context of your emotional maturity. Because if he wanted to apologize for any of the things that he's done or not done, or the amount of actions that he's done or not done, or the accusations that he's allegedly done or not done, including the back where he's got one hand on leg, one hand on thigh, both hand on cheeks, clap, 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 clap. The only way to really deal with it is to just simply get it all out, literally, a wink, get it all out, and just deal with it. You're going to take shit, you're going to take flack, but if you're open and honest about it, like I said earlier, then it's not a problem. Because nobody can lord the information over you. There's no details or excess secrets that they can reveal. And if somehow it is because you misremembered it or you didn't document shit, which will hurt or help depending on how severe the thing it is that you're apologizing for is, or that you're revealing is, you leave that shit up and you give it up to the ecumenical god of politics. You have to give it up to the god of ecumenical politics. Because if you don't, You're going to be constantly fighting through the reeds of the swamp that exists in your misery forever. Because you're going to start hearing whispers that tell you that you're not good enough and you don't deserve this because of those actions. That's what you do to solve the problem. But here, in Cameron's case, you're trying to trick people into basically supporting you so that you don't realize that they are supporting a person that is capable of actions that they have not yet rectified and have not shown the maturity and understanding and growth to deal with. Because in these cases, maturity and growth can be faked. So, he walks away from the situation with Anne and all these other people involving Yandere Dev as though he is a changed individual who was wronged by Yandere Dev too. But he could be just as manipulative and deep in the cut as the rest of them.
Some of those things, like I made a video after I released like the rest of the music that I hadn't gotten to when the whole controversy happened, and because like there was like a vinyl rollout and everything, and I talked about, yeah, I'm quitting, I have quit, I just released the rest of my music, I'm moving forward, yada yada, and that was kind of that. I hadn't talked about it, touched on it for I think like 6, 7, 8 months.
Well, that's right.
And yeah, that was that.
Why am I getting pinged? Hold on 1 second. I apologize. Huh. Okay. Interesting. You're here. I just got pinged with something. I'm gonna bring it on screen just so you're aware.
Okay.
There's a video here that I have. It is called "The Aftermath of Yondev CameronF305" by FPS.
Interesting.
I mean,
new?
Brand new. That's what I just got pinged with.
Do
you want to watch it?
Not really.
You don't want to watch because I'm gonna react to you. Why don't you want to watch it?
It's just not something I feel like I should engage with.
Why don't you want to engage with it?
Why would you not want to engage material from FPS Diesel? I wonder. I didn't ask Foggy if he was using an alternate name when he was talking to people, when he was concerning this, so that it was not possible that Cameron already recognized him. I think they might have talked a little bit about this beforehand, before he went onto this broadcast. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are now at the point of the festivities where we now get to see the masterworks that is the honeydicking of Foggy! Fingers on Prince and hands on buzzers. It's about to get wicked.
I'm curious.
Just like I said earlier, it's not worth the energy of
It's
your time.
not worth the energy of your time. Is it because there's something in this video that you wouldn't like getting out?
I don't know, like, if it's there, it's there. I mean, it's like, it's something from like this is all shit from my teenage years. Like,
Your teenage years? Okay. Because, I mean, you said by the time, if I remember correctly, you were 19, right?
Correct, yeah. So it went from 15 to 19. It was a good 4 years of my life.
Yeah. So
I'm just like, it's over.
So if it's over, let's get over with. You know, listen,
like I appreciate your show, man, and I understand. But it's just really not something I'm like willing to engage with. Yeah?
Okay, you're not willing to engage with it because you want to move on, or you're not willing to engage with it because you feel like it's not necessary. Like, listen, I'm just asking.
Both.
Okay, so you don't want to engage with it at all.
No, it's just like, why? You know, it's like if I spend my time engaging with like shit from years ago, like I feel like we're moving in circles here.
No,
I feel like we're moving in circles here. I don't want to engage with it, and I don't feel like I need to engage with it. So, some context. Anna Voir. For those that don't know, that's the ex that Destiny would frequently have sexual encounters with in DMs, while at the same time, while on live stream, treating her like she was a social monster who would break down in panic attacks and hives, watching herself be slandered in Destiny's chat and Destiny do nothing to defend her, causing the well-known and well-documented Anna loops. Anna Voir went on to talk to several different people recently in concerns to her involvement with Pixie and the information that was necessary for people to compare and contrast the context of how Destiny treated her in the past and how he's been treating Pixie in the means of the lawsuit. Same logic exists for her as exists for Cameron. Why would she not just simply ignore and choose to not engage with any questions asked of her concerning that in the past, considering that would just be something that triggers the shit out of her? Same logic, and yet she's able to deal with it, and he's not. Let's use me. People frequently to this day attempt to hold over my former friendship and relationship with several figures involving Smoke Rocco, as though I'm going to be terrified, pissed still about it, and I'm not. I would have more reason to not mention it than to mention it, especially considering that it's Kiwi Farms that would be on my back, or people from Kiwi Farms during that time period that would somehow be on my back. I confront the people who try to address it about me. I speak to them privately. I tell them directly, hey, yo, you should probably find better things to do with your time, and then I move past it. They don't show up here. They don't seem to understand. There are certainly people that try to talk about it frequently, but I don't engage with it, but it doesn't hurt me that they're talking. I don't feel a need to stop them from speaking. And it seems that they have given up on this angle because, we keep trying to hold this over his head. But also, we're trying to attack him and his woman. But also, we don't know who she is. But also, we don't know the backstory behind her. And we're going to keep trying to peel for information to get to him. But also, if I were scared of these people, why broadcast? Why go on camera? Why be a YouTuber at all? Why even not use a VTuber persona like multiple people have tried to push me to do, including my personal family? Because I don't give a shit. So what is Cameron's motivation for attempting to run here, despite the fact that he doesn't even know what the content of the material is? Unless he's just simply looking back on the fact that he was already talking to FPS Diesel, and he remembers what he said to FPS Diesel, and he's terrified about whether or not that content is inside of that video. Or just specifically, he has enough wherewithal to not be live on air as he then gets caught in lies from his own words. But it's too late. He's already given statements that can be used as the argumentation for why he can be considered disingenuous and dishonest. Of course, that's my read, and it is possible that, as Horror says, I don't think so. It may have been brief interactions, and Cam doesn't remember. For me, if you have no fucking problem, why not just rip off the Band-Aid? It doesn't hold power over you. Why be scared?
I do apologize if we're moving in circles. I'm just trying to figure out why, for instance, you wouldn't want to engage with something that is about you by someone who's covered you in the past. I guess that's my big thing. Is just like something, because I know this person has covered you. And I think...
Right.
Oh.
Well, Cameron.
Oh! The long dick sound got me. Just out of nowhere. Sexual chocolate.
Is just like something, because I know this person has covered you. And I think...
Right.
Oh.
Well, Cameron.
What's up, Diesel?
Interesting that you don't want to watch it.
Why would I mean, you're a YouTuber, you know this better than most. Why would I, like, engage with this kind of shit?
You know, the thing is that you've been saying that this entire drama, and I...
Okay, so here's a question, Cameron. I'm a YouTuber. You're a YouTuber. Why would I engage in this kind of, quote, drama? Cameron, you want to be in the commentary community. The commentary community makes up a majority of most drama cycles. About 85% of the drama cycles, with the other 15% being other people that are outside of commentary being criticized by those people in commentary about particular factors that they are being discussed about and over, if not simply being watched because they are a lolcow and they are being milked for content. If all of commentary can understand, hey, this is material about me, you know what would be really funny? Is if I reacted to this live on camera. You don't think that's something you'd want to do? Even as you are looking back on the past that you've been involved in, or the stuff that you've done, assuming we lived in a timeline where you were not guilty of the things that you're guilty of, just by being involved. No, Cameron, you don't want to watch it because this will directly harm your reputation. That's the only reason a person would avoid doing something in the material business sense of involvement. Period. You're talking about Foggy being under a different name? It's possible. I don't know. The only way that it can get crazier if it's not like us started playing in the background. See, it's funny you bring that up, Bogdan. It's funny you bring that up, because that's exactly what Foggy alluded to on his own content. If I can go find his thing. Why is it not bringing it up properly? I can just pull from the mentions. It's probably because he's tweeting from the op block. But no, that is exactly what he did.
Right here. That is exactly the tweet that he made. It was funny when I saw it. It was hilarious as fuck. Now, let's watch the master at work get it on the flow.
I really do think that you do not want this to get talked about. I really don't think you do. Now, honestly, the onus is on you. I just want you to provide evidence of that, okay? Because you tried to pressure me into taking out a part of the video.
I did not. I made that very clear to you in private.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You
No,
did twice.
I did. Extremely clear to you in private.
Okay, so he hits him with the "you came to me in DMs trying to remove a section." He says, "I was very clear I didn't." And then he starts getting hasty and starts trying to mauled.
Before you two keep arguing, I'm gonna need proof of that shit. Right now, I'm gonna need proof of it.
I mean, I recorded my side of it, but...
Well, no. If there's a text, if there's an audio recording...
I made it extremely clear to him in private that if you want to leave it in the video, that's fine. I was going to try to find whatever we were talking about. I'm not going to get into it because, first of all, it's a private conversation. And second of all, that's very personal shit that we were talking about in regards to, like, the proof that I was...
It was a private conversation of very personal shit I wanted to get into. So you're using the fact that you offloaded this information to FPS Diesel as a justification that FPS Diesel, if you reveal this information at any time, you will be responsible for my death. That's extremely homosexual, sir. That's extremely homosexual, and that's an extremely homosexual position to take as a person who works in commentary. Because if you didn't want it talked about, why did you choose to tell him? If you don't open your mouth and tell him, he doesn't have the burden on him that then requires him to, quote, keep your secrets private. And, I don't have a responsibility to keep your secrets private. Realistically speaking, none of us do. It is out of the good nature of our being that for the simulacrum of us that we have of you, that we say to ourselves, he's clearly not going to just tell me this shit so that he can try to trick me into doing that. Yeah, that'd be really weird. That'd be really weird, man. Clearly he's an honest man and not a fucking coward. Bitch-ass liar. It'd be really strange if he turned out to be a bitch-ass liar. Hey, Carl. Yeah? But what if he's a bitch-ass liar? Don't say that, Brain. Brain, that's fucked up. But I'm saying, Carl. Look, I'm saying. What if he's a bitch? All of us do that to ourselves frequently, dude. So, if you don't do this, then you have no reason to tell him that in the first place. And you wouldn't have a reason to argue about it either. Why are you getting hasty? Why are you getting upset?
It was going to send him. We talked about it. I told him that there was no pressure to remove anything, and I wouldn't blame him for not removing anything.
You know, the crazy part is, chat, that right after my call with Cameron, right, it's a very serious call, Cameron goes on an interview, right, a little later that evening with Food Shops.
Yep.
Which I thought was hilarious. Cameron, are you familiar with Food Shops history?
No, I have no idea.
No, that's hilarious. I'm sure Chad will be happy to provide that information to you.
What happened with Food Shops?
Okay, and before that, you're here running like defense for yourself in Diorio's Discord, saying like, oh, Diesel got some things wrong, this, that, and the other thing. But then when I pressure you on it, you don't.
And here's the piece that Horror just mentioned, where when this started happening, he starts running defense for himself in multiple Discords. Some of these messages I were not able to find images of. Some I did, but they're not relevant because this exists. And I could talk to the man himself about what his goals were. So that's what that is.
You don't provide it. You're like, oh, I can't find it. Oh, just give me some time to look for it, right? I give you some time, and I gotta be honest. I don't think you're gonna go look for it. I'm willing to admit that it's you haven't gotten it yet, and you can go find it. But
well, first of all, I haven't had the time. This was like a couple days ago. I'm in class. I was in a 7-hour class today. Okay, I have shit going that I'm working on.
So you have time to do glazing interviews and sit in everybody's chat that's reacting to you, but you don't have time.
I mean, I got a million fucking mentions on my Twitter.
You. Okay, get off of Twitter and start looking for the fucking audio. I don't understand.
Which?
Is that back?
I'm in class. I was in a 7-hour class today. Okay,
I don't have time for this. I was in class. I have a 7-hour class today. So now you're using school as justification. So you had time for class and you had time to go in and receive some praise and hurrah yourself, but you ain't got time to come up with the evidence that you're denying exists, or that you're attempting to say after he says no, it 100% does exist, come truthful. You say, oh, well, I have to take time to find it. You better produce it around the spot.
Shit going that I'm working on.
So you have time to do glazing interviews and sit in everybody's chat that's reacting to you, but you don't have time.
I mean, I got a million fucking mentions on my Twitter.
You. Okay, get off of Twitter and start looking for the.
You have a million mentions telling people that they're watching your content, but that's also bullshit.
Oh, yo, I don't understand.
Which can I ask? Because I don't know enough.
Look, this is
this is something that was talked about between us in private that I was going to try to get to him. And if I couldn't find it, couldn't find it. Because there was a lot of shit that was happening during the time where I was being... I'm not even going to get into it. But,
I mean, can you at least
it's
explain...
not worth my time.
Can you at least explain what it is? Because I'm going
it's
to be
not
honest...
worth my time.
I'm not going to get into it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my time.
If it's not worth it...
No, listen. It is not worth my time. I got other things I'm working on. So I'm going to get to that. You guys have a great stream. And I'm out.
Oh.
And this is the point where Falgi sees him rage quit. He did say that he had only enough time to thank him for his time. And then he left and disconnected. This is where I would then look onto Cameron's timeline, and I'd respond and start looking at the things that are being said. Some of it I was looking at while I was being visited by Star last night, because she brought me a couple of groceries. Actually, I don't think it asked me that. But no, I knew that it was happening, because I believe there are some mentions of it from inside of the chat log here. Horror was watching, so Horror can confirm this. Horror... Are there users that then started DMing and messaging Cameron both on the platform of YouTube as well as on the platform of Twitter and were being hard blocked by him? Not just a soft block, not just an unfollowing, but specifically targeting people with blocks when they started responding to him about this behavior that he just did on camera? Yes, correct. Yes, so... The order of operations, chat, is that the content comes out, he went around the internet, taking a fucking victory lap, blazing. He's got all the time to stand there in the room saying, I'm every contenter, it's all up in me. Then he comes onto the broadcast. He starts talking about this stuff and basically misses the parallel that for those that were with me when I was live watching, not yesterday, but I believe it was actually Tuesday, when Dev dropped the Toxic Egos and Personality video, which was basically a summarization of the Season 2 Pirate Software OnlyFans drama, just the parts that were relevant to Pirate Software. And he summarized at the end all the information about research and philosophy topics, especially in the Dr. K breakdown, and how Dev could see and relate to that content for himself. As I said 15 minutes earlier, or however long it was, this is the moment where Cameron did not imagine an apple. He had no self-reflection, he had no self-circumception, and he had no frame of reference upon which to understand, it's really weird. All these things that I'm talking about, they relate to me in a weird way. It must be coincidence. That chuckle that he did was possibly the one moment you could say that he would possibly picked up on it. From what I saw from a cursory glance when I looked at the stream at this moment, it appeared to me that the chat was playing along, and then Horror's confirming that that was the case. Which, I don't know. I don't think you can be in commentary and not have intuition that tells you that you're being led into a trap. His intuition didn't tell him any goddamn thing about the fact that this was a trap. I find that highly interesting. Because why wouldn't he realize that he's being lured into a trap and fattened for the slaughter? Then when he gets into it, he does the worst thing that a content creator could do, which is rage quit a conversation. Because he's not in control of how the conversation is flowing, so he just decides, nope, I don't want to be here anymore. That is the saddest way a man can go out. I'm telling you, chat. Saddest way. Most unbelievably pathetic shit. At least in my opinion. Now let's watch a little bit past this point.
Hello, chat. Hi, Diesel.
Oh my god. What a brilliant set of audio that you've gotten from Cameron tonight.
Let's see. Adults are completely in control of their own actions, and minors can't control them.
Interesting.
Nobody controls him. Interesting. Hi, Cameron. If you're seeing this, by the way. Hi, my name is Falgi. Diesel's my guy. And let's have a full conversation. So this is what you call a fun time. Now I know people who are probably gonna react to this stream are like, this is fucking gay. You're absolutely right, this is fucking gay. Absolutely fucking gay. Homoerotic. I'm a fag. That's how it works. But this is gonna be a good stream, chat. You wanna know why this is gonna be a good stream? Because we are premiering today FPS Diesel's newest video, the aftermath of Yandere dev CameronF305 with the man himself, FPS Diesel. Now, chat, you may be asking, why the fuck did you do this? Yes, why Oshi with the jump scare? Thank you very much, Baker. Now, chat, you may be asking yourself, what the fuck does that mean? Now, chat, it's so beautiful, right? Now, remember what our friend Cameron said. We talked about the reverse predators, minors. It's crazy that minors can control adults, right? Be crazy if we talked about that in this video. It'd be crazy. Yeah, that all happens.
Okay, I want to presuppose some of this, right? So the allegation that comes from Cameron's own words in a private call with me over a year ago, multiple times, Cameron told me that he hooked up with the minor grooming victim of Yandere Dev. Now, the age gap in question between these two individuals is 19 and 16, and I'm not going to debate whether or not he's a pedophile or not. Yeah. I don't necessarily give a shit, right? But the basis of it is that he went out to go meet this chick, right? They hook up, and he had sent audio of Yandere Dev to the police. Okay, so him hooking up with his minor would actually just complicate a police case. Him being so involved with Yandere Dev, right, and being such an active participant could have harmed that case. All right, and he doesn't want people to talk about it. Now, obviously, him hooking up with and cucking his pedophile boss, Yandere Dev, is a problem. Yeah. All right, but he doesn't want to fucking talk about it, right? He asked me to get rid of it in a private call where I reviewed his content out for him. Okay, I said, oh, this is gonna be good, blah blah blah. I actually give him some real fucking advice, right? I say I'm gonna need something, and then he follows up the next day saying, could you take it out? There are people who are litigating my drama from a year ago. And I'm like, I don't know about that, and then that's when I start looking into it. Right?
So in short, as Falgi did say in DMs with me when I asked him what his goal was, all of this could have been avoided. Or rather, this would not have ended so poorly for Cameron if Cameron hadn't tried to Godfather Mafia Bass FPS Diesel into not putting content into his content. He came here to me on the eve of his new YouTube video and asked for me not to try to tell people about him putting her up in the stirrups, BBC and Bible Black style. And that's hilarious. Hilarious. So he gives effectively a full-throated, belly-up, throat-up exposed submission and admission to defeat, runs away from the situation, tail tucked between his legs, with none of the caveats, none of the bravado, none of the energy of a fucking reviewer, of a commentator, or of even a drama calnoker. I don't know about you, chat, but to me, that's demonstration that he doesn't need to be here in the genre. I gotta rehydrate these goddamn disinfectant wipes. Now, because of this, there are some questions we have to ask ourselves. Namely, the one that Horror just typed as I was squirting that fucking horrible alcohol into his goddamn bottle. We will have to see if any of this bravado or any of this energy or anything referred to here in this content appears in the next Content Cop. I don't think Cameron is going to have a very longevitous career in commentary. I feel like he's about to become a target of his own volition and his own doing. Horrible for him. Horrible for him. But, you know, what is a content creator to do, you know? What is a content creator to do? It's unfortunate. So horrible. But, you know, maybe don't go on weird visits across country when you're on vacation to go get some nookie from somebody you probably don't need to be fucking. Maybe have the accountability to say, you know what, I did do dumb shit in the past. Let's talk about it. Let's go for it. Boom. Let's get it in. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Because any other answer probably would have gone better for him. If he stayed there and watched the video, even if he didn't sit through it, if he was antsy, if he was squirming, if he put on a brave face, went through it, and he's like, yes, absolutely. I did hold her up against the wall. I did fuck her to the beat of a TikTok song, slow and reverbed. Yes, I did make love to her to the sound of Closer in the Weekend. I absolutely did do that. Yes, I was timeless. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it. If he had done any of these things, it would have ended up better for him. That doesn't mean that it would have been a better ending. I mean, he ain't saying it would have ended up better for him than it is at this exact fucking moment, chat. And that's all I got for you guys. Honestly, truthfully. Yes, indeed, I did time my thrust to the B2C bag. So, to that edge. For those that want to watch the video more, that is the link to the op block. When you go through and you watch that content, go to the comment section and type out, "The Negro Herd sends its regards." And if it's got the ability to let you use emoji, put it in like an emoji of a whip crack. What? How did I steal your jokes? He's stealing your jokes. But yeah, if you want to watch the full content, please go watch the full content on the op block. Go support Foggy. He has recently crossed the threshold of 1,000. I think he's now sitting at 1.19. Let's see if we can get him to eclipse me and get him closer to 2,500, 2.5K. Steal, I'm just quicker on the draw, said the slave master to the slave. That's fucked up, Bogdan. That's fucked up. But anyways, as almost always, for this particular content today, you can thank no one else but Horror, screens this way, Horror, for us being here. Because it was her suggestion as I was playing Expedition 33 last night to come in and check in what happened. And I figured, why the fuck not? It'll give you all something to watch, because I actually did not plan on streaming today until much later after I made dinner. Or why are you deleting your messages? Okay, she's correcting your spell check. Bogdan, stop bullying Horror when she hurts you. Anyways, that's all I have for you today, at least for now. I will see you all later in the evening, and then I will see you all later tomorrow, because we will be starting with Saber Spark. We'll be going through the same response video that we got, and we'll also be going through the majority of the rest of the allegations as viewed from other content creators. Again, for VsChat. Then afterwards, on Saturday, I believe we will do Black Griffin. And then possibly How I Feel on Sunday, if I don't wait until next Monday. We will be going over the crash out of the Cigaroosas. So, goodbye everybody. Goodbye everybody. I will be reading you in the funny papers, and I will be billing you all for my therapy. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.